Let's see if this works. This will be fucking cool if it does.
And there's your big old glass of ice too.
What? We are streaming everywhere.
Oh, well, fuck me. Hello,
There we
everywhere.
go. What's up, everybody?
Twitchy too, even on the old Twitchers.
Everywhere.
Holy
Well,
shit.
since you finally gave her the password.
I know, exactly. Let's get out our game controls and dim the lights and start.
We are on Twitch, Facebook, the DU Football Show group, YouTube, and Twitter.
Wow, look at that. We are ROR.
Did I tell you?
ROR.
Tegan wants to start streaming Fortnite.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. I told her that's not going to
I
happen.
was a little
right?
late to the party first, so there's no way to monetize it. But
Right.
yeah, of course not. Absolutely.
Like,
No
no,
chance.
no, not
Because I know she'll be more famous than me, and that's not happening.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with has nothing to do with internet safety. It's all about ego.
No, it's my daughter will have more listeners and viewers than me.
She'll be more popular.
and
Yeah.
I will want to go jump off the Bay Bridge. So fuck off. It's totally vanity. We know that. Absolutely.
Why don't you just have her run your socials?
Yeah. Right.
Excellent. All right, Mrs. Houston, we ready to get this thing started?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Let's have a great show, everybody.
Idea.
Here we are, Sam.
We're back.
It's the start of a new season. Hope
Yes.
springs eternal for 20 clubs.
Very excited.
I don't know why everybody's here today because I mean Everton's winning the league. That's what's happening.
Okay. The championship, you mean next season?
It's the old the NFL Washington football commander team. We're always going to win. So that's how
right.
it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased preview of the upcoming Premier League season as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, my esteemed press colleague. That's right. We were official for a fucking day. Mr. Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing?
Not too bad. Excited to be back. Excited for the season to start. Club football is back. I'm very excited. Excited.
It feels about 2 weeks early because it is 2 weeks early. Thanks, Obama. I mean, Qatar.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Bribery does wonderful things, doesn't it?
Normally, like, whoa, what the? There we go. My wife's button, my wife's choice. She apparently decided to mute the host in the fucking intro.
First show. Give me a moment.
First show jitters.
She also said there was no intro. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I got to tell you, I mean, we have the whole crowd here. I'm going to say hello to all of them in a second, but behind the curtain, what I always love is whenever there's like a big show we have to do and like the pressure's on and you and I are kind of like little angst up,
all
like
jazzed up, ready to rock.
Our producer is right there to just make us feel like fucking pond scum. Like right before we go on, she's like,
I have witnesses.
I'm gonna fuck with you now. Go be funny, fat boy.
I have witnesses this time.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, follow all the fucking pronouns and shit you're supposed to say. Should you want to chat with us, there's many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they get in touch.
As usual, as we kick off our 5th season here at the DU Football Show, it is at dufootballshow@gmail.com on all the social media, and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch by email. See,
Fabulous.
no, fuck me all up now.
Yeah, I know. See, it's just that's
I'm all
how
out
she
of
rolls.
whack. God damn it.
Hitting wrong mute buttons,
Ugh.
fucking not giving us intros, saying and so giving us the finger while we're recording, giving just the level of standard from her. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
You know, Sam, or as I
depressing.
always like to say, I say this all the time. you could just Zoom your happy ass in here.
That's right, you could.
Which is the case of the 19 fucking lunatics we have on the meeting tonight. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Hey,
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Oh,
It's like we just walked back into the pub after a stint in AA.
exactly.
He's back.
Love it. All right, mute yourselves again. We got to talk some more, you know? I mean, I don't even know why you're all here. Like I said, we're already winning the league. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, why don't you tell us what we're drinking tonight?
We are kicking it off with a humdinger. This is the Glenallachie Speyside Single Malt Scotch Single Cask Series. This is their 2007, which was distilled on November 26th of 2007 and bottled of September 2021, aged 13 years. Does have a little bit of portwood to it. These tasting notes on the back of the bottle say the color is a crimson blush, which I enjoy very much. Ripe damsons, black cherries, and honey glazed figs on the nose, leading to indulgent Black Forest Gateau, as opposed to unenthusiastic Black Forest Gateau.
Damsons and Cateaus. ... Cause Scotland.
Yeah, exactly. Taste. Their notes say wild meadow honey. So definitely not made in a city. It's made in a meadow.
Got to be meadow honey.
Wild
That's
meadow honey,
important.
and it's not to be tamed.
Right. Hell no.
Drawn fresh from the hive. Fruits of the forest. Very vague.
Okay, could be any fruit of the forest.
Correct. Hopefully it's not the same forest that Alexandre Lacazette found himself in.
Oh, yeah, that did not go so well. No, go so well.
10 wasp stings out for the first game of the season for Lyon. Terrible.
When you talk about that later, I will have a funny little quip to go along with that from me back in my younger playing days.
Heard. Butterscotch and dark chocolate truffles with hints of cinnamon on the finish.
Lovely.
This ran me, I got it at wholesale. So it's probably $179.99 retail.
Yeah. And this was the syndicate, the Allview.
This was the no, I think this is just Allview.
Okay.
Yep.
I know Drug City has a few.
Oh, do that?
Yeah.
Well, I think it brought in 400 6-packs. So they did the initial drop of like 60 and then debating on whether or not to buy more. And I think then George got into it.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I mean, the thing you have to remember is with American whiskey, it's always a 53, right? What you're doing with Scottish barrels, you tend to go with a larger barrel. It's a blend of multiple small barrels because it's all 100% barley from one distillery. So that doesn't mean it's a single barrel necessarily. They'll do some blending and then they'll, put it into bigger.
To the house style. This is a single barrel though, this particular one.
But they're also going to put that into a fucking big old oversized barrel, an extended a hogshead, if it has a water, where you put more staves into it and bring it out. And then you have the port, which, by the way, this is one of the best executed ports I've had in a long while. Port finishes I've had in a long while.
Absolutely. It does need some water, though. It is a big boy. I forgot to tell you, it actually comes in at 124.8 proof.
Yeah,
it's a big fella.
Ice Cube took a lot off
Allows the actual flavors to stand through. And the butterscotch for me is one of the biggest ones, along with the forest fruits of the forest.
Yep. And I think this was a big home run to bring out for. Yeah. We finished up our gin binge. We'll get ourselves back into some whiskey here over the next few weeks, and this is a winner. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and I thought it'd be something great to start the season with.
And what else should we always do, Mr.
Remember to drink responsibly.
That a boy. All right, so let's go ahead and do some cheers in here. Our boy Taylor. I saw Mr. Keckle there giving a little nod to the camera. I don't know if other people did it, but I definitely saw him. Taylor was very funny. We had him here a few weeks ago, coming in and not realizing exactly how fucking on top of each other we are. It's like, I thought y'all are like opposite ends of the room and stuff like that. It's like, no, we could we're right here. We could just smack each other in the face if we wanted to. We're that fucking close. Yeah. It's not that far away. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, Sam. We do this every single season when we start anew. Hope springs eternal for all of our clubs. And we always want to do this big show, big Zoom meeting. It tends to take a while. It's a long show.
Yep.
Because we want to kind of talk with everybody and learn a little bit about each of the clubs. And this is also for novices to the league. Why don't you hear a quick 5-minute spiel on each club? Just know a little something.
One of the people we met this summer, which was awesome, told us that he listens to us specifically to find out about the rest of the league because he only listens to podcasts about his own team.
Right.
So this is where he gets his news.
Yeah, it was fuck. Sorry.
Talk about pressure.
No,
Jesus
no.
Christ.
Press. We are official.
They're right.
We are
Professional.
We know what we're doing.
Don't say fuck. Don't say fuck.
Oh yes, every single time that Lewis Black jumps into my head.
Exactly.
Don't say fuck.
But I gotta say nipple.
Don't say fuck.
It just bounces right around there. That's the word.
But here's what we're doing tonight. There's going to be a few people canceled last minute, but we have a few things to go along with it.
Cool.
So this is primarily 19 clubs because fuck City. Just fuck City. And I say that because we have tried to get someone from City for the first 4 years of doing this. This year, I specifically said, no, just no.
You know what? I saw somebody yesterday. I went to Slanja. Casey from Mount Airy came down to the city, and I was sitting outside Slanja, and a City fan walked in for the charity shield, the community shield, rather. And I specifically did not go up to him and speak to him.
Yeah, it's just
because fuck it.
No.
Yep.
You're gonna look. If we're gonna get somebody to come on and do the show from City, they were a fan 5 minutes ago, so we don't need to bother.
Or they're pimping a company.
Exactly. So just no. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. We're gonna go in reverse order, which is very funny because we were going in reverse order for our good friend Paul, who is with the Houston Wolves and the Whole Lot of Wolves podcast, and a great fucking guy. And he hangs out every year for the entire thing. He's patient as hell. Simon, get ready because this is going to be you today. And by the end, we don't give a shit anymore. And we just want this.
We're so done talking.
We want this show to be over. And he's so happy and he's so energetic. So I'm like,
we're just like, oh yeah, good for y'all.
Paul, I'm going to do you a solid. You're going first this year. He goes, I can't do it. Mr. Graham, get the ball rolling.
All right, not a problem. So we've got Danny here from the Baltimore Wolves. What's going on, man? How are you?
Great. How are you guys?
Not too bad, thank you. So Wolves obviously last season had a little bit of a stop-start season. Raul Jimenez wasn't scoring goals at a tremendous rate. What are we looking at from Wolves this season, or what are some of the major signings you brought in that might help change the way you play?
All right. Are you ready for this? Huge signing, biggest signing ever, because we've only signed one player, is Nathan Collins from Burnley.
Sweet. Awesome.
But joking aside, he's actually kind of what we needed in terms of a center back because Bruno Lage has been rumored to want to switch to a back four. And so we've needed a pacier center back. That looks like that's going to be happening. I think the regular pairing is going to be him and Kilman, which is pretty exciting. It looks like we're going to play four at the back. All of our preseason has been four at the back. In terms of outgoings, not a whole lot in terms of people anybody else would know, but Romain Saiz is out to Besiktas and Fabio Silva is on loan at Anderlecht. Other than that, pretty much the same squad, except everybody is actually healthy, except for Raul Jimenez, who just pulled his groin or something.
Nice.
So our next huge signing is mystery backup striker who we needed a month ago.
Sweet. A week before the season starts, you don't have a striker in. That's great.
I do have a quick thought here because I just want to get your thoughts on this. Is for some reason, right? This is a team that was at one point battling for a Champions League spot. Like they were in the thick of it, and then they just fell completely the fuck off at the end. And I think a lot of that was just they didn't have a very deep team. They kind of eventually ran out of gas. And by the end, when you realize you're not going to be in Europe, it's Dubai time, right?
Well, yeah, but it's also the drop off in quality from their starters to someone like Fabio Silva that's coming off the bench. It's like never really scored a ton of goals for him. Like he's somebody that needed a loan deal for sure.
So my question to you is two parts. Is one, who are you fearful of losing? Because I mean, I regularly listen to a whole lot of Wolves, and I know that you contribute to that show as well. And I know that there's some names out there on your squad that you're still kind of nervous about potentially losing. And second, like the bookmakers, the odds, they do not like Wolves to do well at all. And it wasn't like Wolves did anything wrong. It's like suddenly they're in there. They're in a shout as far as that goes to go down. And it's like, I don't know why.
Two of the better clubs that have been chosen, just quick anecdote, that you would think have better odds of staying up. Normally you would look at what the bookmakers are saying preseason, and it's the two clubs that have signed Burnley players, you and Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. So
big surprise, or kind of the traditional up there clubs that are over the last few seasons that are favorites.
Right, we're running our mouth too much. Let the Wolves guy talk.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, because I think we probably outperformed our expected points last season. Even though we couldn't score to save our lives a lot of the times, we were still sometimes even outperforming our XG. And so, like, it's like you said, it's a big drop off from that starting 11. I think if you look at the starting 11, you say, there's no way this team's getting relegated. Some of these players are absolutely class. Moutinho is a legend of the game in Portugal. But then when you talk about, like, if you lose Moutinho for 4 weeks, if you lose Neves for 6 weeks or something, then you start to think, okay, well, where is the team? Because then you're immediately dropping to under 23s. So in terms of players we're worried about losing, Neves is always the big name. It looked like a big move was going to come in for him this summer. It looks like that's not happening. I wouldn't rule it out, but it looks like that's probably not happening. And then I think the bigger danger is next summer. There's a bunch of young kids. I mean, some of them not even really kids anymore, but Pedro Neto and Ryan Ait-Nouri and potentially Morgan Gibbs-White, who was out on loan at Sheffield last year and has had a really good preseason. All three of those I could see getting snapped up next summer. I don't think it'll happen
we were
this summer.
In big time for him, but he was just too much money. That's a name, Gibbs-White, that Everton was linked to for quite a while at the start of the transfer window.
Yeah. So what are your hopes for the season? What are your expectations? What do you think's actually going to happen for Wolves this year? Where are you going to finish?
Personally, I would take a repeat of 10th. It would be great to see some progression and just like settling into a new system of playing four at the back the way Lodge wants. I think a lot of fans are really nervous right now because we only have made one signing and we've lost several players. So I think they'd be happy just not to be in a relegation scrap for most of the season. I do think that with a couple of decent signings, we could be once again sort of in the hunt for those bottom Europe spots, 7th or so. So I think that's not out of the question. It's really going to depend on how healthy can we stay. Will they bring in those extra 2 or 3 players that we need?
Awesome.
Excellent. Right.
Is there anything you want to plug? Where can people find you on the old socials and all that kind of stuff? Find like-minded fans like yourself.
Yeah, you can find me at Baltimore Wolves on Twitter. I'm also on Facebook. There, we occasionally meet up down at Slancha and Fells Point. Also, you guys already mentioned it, but I'm going to plug it again. The guys over at Whole Lot of Wolves do a great podcast, so check them out.
Excellent. And by the way, worth mentioning too, he's not going to mention it, but I'm going to mention it for him. Danny keeps a great eye on the Lady Wolves and constantly reports on how they're doing, which is kind of fun because that's one thing I haven't seen shows, most of the, team-centric shows kind of do, is take a second and kind of go, okay, what are the ladies doing? Because
right, well, if we're going to do that, then I'm going to derail it right now. It fucking came home.
Yeah,
well,
that's right.
Hey, there's a girl who's British.
I know.
I'll be on later.
All right. I said I was derailing it. I'm taking over. Okay.
Let her talk.
The Supreme Court said I could do that.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. You now rule all choices for everyone. Heard. Very good.
I hate this country.
Danny, thank you so very, very much for joining, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
all right.
guys.
So next up is West Ham. And unfortunately, good news for the draft show is that International Man of Mystery Smokey is going to be on for that, but he's not on today because unfortunately he has to work.
Yep.
And typically we'll try to find somebody else, but let's face it, he writes really great emails.
Yeah, he does.
And we are reminded of 2 seasons ago when he wrote the doom and gloom, we're all going to die. This club is shit. I don't know what I'm rooting for. They finish in Europa spots. So I've got a positive email. They're getting relegated. Yeah. So from Smokey, West Ham's summer has been interesting so far. Yarmolenko has left the club, as well as Fredericks off to Bournemouth, and Sonny Perkins left the academy for Leeds. I told him not to talk about academy people. David Martin has retired, and the club legend, Mr. West Ham, Mark Noble's retirement. To start our incoming, we got Titty Areola on the permanent deal for the steal of $11 million. He now has a sentence about academy players, which is totally not allowed to fucking do. So then there is the center back from Reigns, who comes to us to replace the sided injured Agbayana, Naif Argerd. I'm not going to be any good with names, and you'll be worse later when you're drunk in a few weeks. Who in the West Ham way already got injured in his first friendly debut and is out for 5 weeks. So their first defensive signing already hurt. But the most exciting thing so far is we finally have a striker to go along with the left back who currently plays striker for them. And they have signed Gianluca Samaka, who we know from he had a pretty good Euro a few years ago with Italy. And one of the young top strikers in Europe and one of 5 strikers last year to score more than 15 and miss less than 5 chances. So they actually finally have a striker, which means he will also get hurt. We still need a piece here and there, most notably left back. Cresswell is a great servant, but lacks the pace and needs to be attacking fullback. And needs to be an attacking fullback, and he is questionable defending. Masaku has gone missing and never really has been much of a left back, more of a wing back or a left midfield. Was working on Kostic, but we don't know. But he wants to leave the club for a Champions League side. So the next target looks like Cornet from Burnley, who really isn't a left back. He's really more of a left wing. He was only a left back because, well, Burnley likes to make left wings.
Because Burnley. That's all you have to say. The point was over there.
Sweet dreams, Brett. We love you. Especially once we get to Championship Corner. Now that everybody's left the fucking club, that's going to be interesting to talk about. Who can play anywhere, including left back. There's a lot of PF supporters that want another attacking mid, but I'm worried we will end up like Big Sam's Everton with all number 10s. True. They don't need another attacking mid.
Correct.
With the squad Moyes has put together, still on the smaller side, but people are also having the rest of this summer with little or no international duty. So that should help with the squad freshness for the season. Conference League semifinal or final is probably the goal set by the club, the McRib Cup, the Conference League.
Yep.
As well as finishing top 7 again. I think we can do it. They're getting relegated. Would also love to see a cup run, but you never know how these matches will go. Now, all we can do is wait for the start of the season on August the 14th against Forest, because fuck City in the first match.
Smell a repeat of the 5-0.
Yeah, exactly. Second first day opponent in 4 years after the back-to-back years against Newcastle fucking United.
That was like every year that Arsenal drew either Barcelona or Bayern in the Champions League back when we used to play that kind of football.
Next sentence, but hey, it's random.
Yeah.
Hey, just like it's random that every single year, the first leg of the Merseyside derby at Goodison, it's random.
Completely random.
And only one thing left to say, come on, you fucking Irons.
So I have one quick thing to wrap up West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
Between them and Chelsea, we can both agree that they've ruined more strikers than everyone else combined.
Oh, yeah.
But the most West Ham thing I've ever seen ever is, what do we need? We need a proper center forward, not a converted right back to center forward, right? Find an Italian. Fuck's sake. For fuck's sake.
All right. Love it. Mr. Graham, your favorite part of the show. And you know what? His mute buttons worked the entire time. So
I don't think he's on here.
Jesus Christ. We let him go up at the top of the show this time.
I know. I just texted him to say, hey, you're on. Get here. And his driving can't text. His car texted me back. He was on the way to Nag's Head. And I don't know if it was his turn to drive or what.
He was in the.
I know he was here and then he wasn't
here.
Then he was here again and now he's not.
You guys realize that happens every time.
Yeah.
Every year.
We know that.
But the problem is I'm not going to go in search of another Spurs supporter.
Yeah, he's the only fucking spud we want to deal with.
He's the only one we know. I'm not going in search for others. Promise.
We can barely fucking tolerate him.
Let's see. All right, we've filled enough. He's not here.
Simon says skip.
You know what? You know what? I'm calling it now. He's gonna pop back on at the end of the fucking show and go at the end, and his audio will be fucking horrible. And so Spuds
they signed
Richie.
Yeah, they bought Richarlison, who's injured. I noticed when I did my first fantasy draft on Wednesday for a different league. Who's that?
May they have the same luck as Everton had every single time Richie got hurt, which is they don't win at all.
Right.
So maybe that'll happen.
I'd like to see that. The a couple of astute signings though, with Yves Bissouma being the most notable of that bunch, and obviously the business they did in January with Kulusevski, who's now got that half a season under his belt. It's going to be a big year for Tottenham. They've strengthened in what seems to be the right areas for them, which is sad to see, to be honest with you. But anything short of Champions League football is going to be a disappointment for them, and I think that's probably where they're going to be. Aiming for, obviously.
I hate to say it, they're going to be sneaky fucking good.
They're
going to be they're going to be a
and we've talked about a few times. It's really and I'm sure we'll come on to again when we make fun of City during that segment, and then when we talk to Russ, it's really a 2-team league. It's City and Liverpool, right? And then third is going to be somewhere between, in my opinion, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, that sort of group. That is chasing that
agreed
other top spot, if you will, the rest of the league top spot.
And also I would say the gap has been shortened. If one of those top two fuck it off, the next three are good enough to fuck with them.
Oh yeah.
They are like, if any one of those three have a good start, they could find themselves battling and talking title after December.
Exactly.
They totally could be. So It's very interesting. All right. So let's go ahead and move along then. So we've talked enough about Spurs, which I'm sure you're very, very happy about.
Yep. And since Spurs wasn't here, that'd be considered a 0, and a 4 kind of looks like a 9. It's our friend Kenny from Southampton. How you doing, buddy?
Say, let's bring it on over to our boy down in Narnia, which now apparently there's 2 of them down in Narnia. Wilmington, South Carolina, because apparently Graham doesn't know that city exists. So it's Narnia.
I forgot. Literally the only tie I have to them is as a child seeing UNC Wilmington in the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
That's literally,
It's ridiculous.
I know, it's stupid.
I think your brain has gone out the length of your hair as it has grown.
But
I
made this comment. I made this mistake before it grew. Yeah. That's the problem.
So that just tells us you were already dumb ahead of time.
Thanks, buddy.
Kenny, how the fuck are you, man?
I'm doing well, guys. Happy to be back for now.
So let's, it's, I hate to say it. There's definitely cause for concern at Southampton. It felt like at times Ralph was the guy, and then it felt like he lost the team. And then by the end, it seemed like he had the team. With the moves this off season so far, anybody that's left the club, please go ahead and tell us about. Anybody that's joining the club, please tell us about. Do you think, though, the ultimate question I want to ask before we get into that is, do you think that this team is still being built in Ralph's image, or do you think the club's already thinking about their exit strategy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like at this point now with the new ownership, they've given Ralph a little bit more say over trying to bring in a little bit more quality, a little bit more depth. So I think they've done that. When it comes to this transfer window, I mean, we really lost nobody of real consequence. I mean, other than Fraser Forster, who we let go to Spurs for free because we brought in some younger goalkeepers. So with that being said, I think they went for youth. I mean, I think the goal it seems like the signings this year all had one thing in common, like they wouldn't be able to buy a beer in America. So we brought in Gavin Bazunu, who's a goalkeeper who's probably going to start over McCarthy this year. He's 20. And we're throwing him into the fire here. He's played well in the friendly so far. Armel Bella-Kotchap, another 20-year-old center back. We needed some depth down there. There's rumors about Bednar going somewhere, but we'll see if somebody wants to pay $30 million for that. If they do, God bless them. And then we brought Romeo Lavia on, 18-year-old midfielder. We brought on Joe Aribo from City, 26, so an old tooth. you know, a little old in the tooth for what we've brought in, but he's shown a lot in the friendlies with James Ward-Prowse just trying to attack, go forward a little bit. And then the one thing that we've needed that we've never been able to replace since we let Danny Ings go is goals. So we think a 19-year-old French striker is going to be that piece. So didn't really make Ralph happy in the first friendly that he played in recently. So I still think they need a striker. He's been moving Stuart Armstrong up there, which I don't think is a bad idea. You know, we'll see. I think that my concern is where the goal is going to come from. I feel a little bit better about the defense this year, considering they were at times, you know, able to let in 9. But I do think that, you know, I still don't 2 times. I just don't know. I don't see where the goals are going to come from unless Adam Armstrong has a great second campaign. You know, if we see him and Shea Adams regularly pair and actually put the ball in the back of the net.
All right. So now that's going to obviously lead into the final question is, where do you see the club? What do you think you're staying up?
It's going to be tight. I want to be optimistic. I've been optimistic in years past, and then there have been runs of form where I'm like, oh, I'm going to stick it to Sam and Sam, and then we fall off the cliff there. So I hope we stay up, but I think it's going to be a dogfight this year. I think, you know, starting off with Spurs, they're liable to beat us 5-6-0. I'm not sure what it's going to be, what the formation is going to look like. Ralph's going to be tested. I mean, he's had a say in bringing these young guys in. So that's the thing. You want to bring in youth and throw them to the fire. That's fine. Does give us a little bit more depth. We have good pieces. It's just putting it all together. So I think it's going to be a dogfight. If I had to, you know, gun to my head, 17th or 18th. And I think we're just going to be on that cut line.
Got it. Now, to throw a little caveat to that as well. Do you think that maybe if you go down, does that at least get you guys back to what you were, which is a great farm system? It's because, I mean, let's face it, your entire farm system got sold to Liverpool Football Club. That's what happened. And then it seemed like there was no farm system supplying over the last couple of seasons. So if you end up going down, do you think maybe that in some way is not necessarily a bad thing, because then you at least get to develop your academy again?
Yeah, I think that, you know, we're sending a lot of our youth guys out on loan to championship sides and a little bit lower leagues. So, you know, I feel like we never really see the merits of them because we're always letting them go, and we're not, you know, like Will Smallbone. I don't know why we sent him out. I mean, give the kid a chance. You know, especially considering we need goal scorers, and he's shown the propensity to do that. So, I think they have no choice, honestly, at that point. I mean, if we go down, I mean, you got to sell James Ward-Prowse and get whatever you can for him, and just kick it over to the youth movement. So,
excellent.
We'll see. It should be fun.
Where can like-minded Americans find Southampton supporters?
I mean, they're all over the place. The place I go the most is just everyone. I just go to the Reddit for Saints. It's called Ralph Hampton. We'll see how long that stays, but I post there fairly frequently. And then there's just a bunch of other socials there. But check us out on Reddit. I
would also say, or just open the wardrobe, go through the wardrobe, and then you get to Narnia, and then you can find all the Southampton supporters, right?
Absolutely. Yep. We're all there.
That's it. Yeah. Just go to the back of the closet, open that door up.
Yeah, you're good. You're all set.
It's fine.
All right, Mr. Graham.
I do real quick.
Yes.
I think part of the loan problem, because we've all seen Ralph's dick, because those pants are painted on. I think Smallbone's probably like, you know, you call a big guy tiny. Old Smallbone's got a wanger. And I think Ralph was intimidated.
Got it. Very good. Well, hey, I'm noticing as we get ready to go to our next guest, he's not in his car and he's not in a McDonald's parking lot. How about that?
Really? Is he at home?
He's at home.
Oh man,
go for it.
Sweet. What's going on, Mr. Mark? Mr. Mark, how are you?
It came fucking home.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day. Me and Tegan were watching on the iPad driving back from Jersey. It was awesome.
It was amazing. The Lionesses did us proud.
Yeah. So Nottingham Forest, we obviously just did our full show a couple of weeks ago, and that should be. It
was this week that got posted.
Yeah, it just got
recorded
posted. Right,
a few weeks ago, but it got posted this week.
So what's happened since then? Have we made any more moves? Have you got a 33rd signing of the summer, or
They signed TikTok's biggest star.
Uh-oh.
Well, firstly, can I just say I can't believe you've been making me go after that bastard Kenneth. Southampton, big rival.
You're on, Mark.
I
You're
forgot.
on.
You're right.
Rivals now.
Completely forgot about that.
They both have trees, so they're rivals now.
I was actually looking around the Zoom room here trying to find the Derby representative. Then I realized this wasn't the non-league show. So, all right. So to the Forest transfer list. Yeah, a lot's been made of the fact that Forest have been buying players hand over fist. I think no consideration has been given to the fact that over half of our team this last year were loans, all of which have gone back to their parent clubs now. So folks need to kind of get a little grip. But when I look at the transfer list, it does read like that Billy Joel song, "We Didn't Start the Fire." So we've got Awani, Williams, Mangala, Nikati, Biakoni, Richards, O'Brien, Toffolo, Lingard, Hennessy, Henderson, can't you see? Brandon Aguilera going out on loan. So yes, it's been quite the transfer list. Outgoings, nothing particularly significant. Club captain Lewis Graben, who's 132 years old, is finally going.
He has been around for a minute.
Somewhere else, probably Derby. Hopefully not Derby, but who knows? We also lost Philip Zinkernagel, who went to Olympiacos, who was kind of our number 10 this last year. However, so lost has already been referenced. We've upgraded him with the world's greatest TikToker, Jesse Lingard.
Yeah, there it is. That's what we all want to talk about. Old Jay Lings.
Yep, exactly.
That should be exciting considering what he did at West Ham when he actually plays. He's been pretty fucking decent over the last couple of seasons. I know he's been a thorn in my club side many a time. When Manchester United would actually sub him on for his 2 appearances a year, he would always score against us. So that should be a good. I think I picked him up in fantasy too.
Well, I mean, the big question there is: do you get the Lingard that was the half season at West Ham, or do you get the Manchester United Jesse Lingard?
Well, Manchester United Jesse Lingard didn't play, so
it's like
So obviously a lot's been made of this, and I know that West Ham fans in particular have been salty about Lingard picking Forest, 2-time European Cup winners, over their club. But
it was only a matter of time before that got brought up. It was only a matter of time.
To be fair, West Ham won the World Cup for England, so they have that. But you know,
also won it for France.
It's a great pickup, I think. Lingard is 29 years old, so in this modern day football world now, that means he's probably still got another 3 or 4 good seasons in him if he takes care of himself, which by all accounts he does. He's a consummate pro, despite the fact he's a crazy TikToker. And he seems really excited to be at Forest, and conservative estimates suggest it's costing Forest about £5 million for the season. It's a 1-year deal, which I think benefits both parties. And if it takes £5 million to keep Forest in the Premier League, or at least help keep Forest in the Premier League, then I'm all for it. Of course, he's going to be very motivated with it being a World Cup year. So there seems no downside to this. He had his debut earlier this week again against Valencia in the last preseason friendly of the season. He links up really nicely with Brennan Johnson. Looked very, very good indeed. Forest ended up drawing that game 1-1 against Valencia, which is nothing to be ashamed of. So the team's coming together. My concern with Forest this year, though, is a little bit the offense. I think our defense is going to be good. Dean Henderson in goal is an upgrade from Samba. I think our defensive unit is still very solid, despite obviously not having Jed Spence. I think bringing in Williams is a big pickup. Obviously, his experience, Nico Williams' experience with Liverpool and Wales. But offense, I think, is a bit of a concern. I think Forest is still light a striker, but assuming we can pick one up here in the next couple of weeks, I think we should be in decent shape.
Awesome. So with all that being said, and obviously bringing in so many players and not really losing much, I mean, no disrespect to Spence, but what are your expectations this season? Are you kind of, vying with Southampton for that 17th spot, or do you think you're going to be a little bit better off?
Well, it's like I said to you guys when we talked a couple of weeks ago, I don't really care. I mean, as long as we're, 1 spot above relegation, then I'm happy with that. It's going to take a while for this team to gel. It just is. When you bring in this many new bodies, and it's going to take a while. And so I think they could have a rough start or a slow start to the season, but it's going to come together. And in Steve Cooper, we trust. So I predict Forest are going to avoid relegation, but it might be by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, Sammy, are you Fulham from a couple of seasons back that bought a bunch of people and then found themselves going
couldn't get it to
back
work,
down, which just made Jane smile? Or are you Villa from the year that they came up and needed goal technology to go awry so you could actually stay in the league?
Exactly.
The only time, mind you, that goal
that has
technology
ever failed. Yeah.
ever went wrong.
Just so happens.
Once.
Just so happens. Prince William's a Villa supporter. Not saying anything, just here for the cue. You know what I mean?
Move along, gents. Move along.
The worst. Graham, are you saying you have documents?
Oh, I have documents.
Are you one of us now?
Nothing to see here. Anyway, so Mark.
Yes.
So glad to have you back again.
Producer Mal, you're my favorite of the trio.
Oh, I'm everybody's favorite of the trio, but I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Oh, we're fully fucking aware of that.
Yeah, who cares?
And the only control we had was the fucking mute button, and now she's
now
just
it's gone.
Crazy fucking
she
animal.
Fucking gave it away.
She got us press passes for fuck's sake.
Well, that's true.
My button, my choice.
All right, Mark. Where can people find like-minded Forest fans that had their best days in the 70s?
Ouch.
It's like yourself and Sam, actually. Oddly enough.
Hey Sam, can you just move aside so we can see your European Cup behind you there? Oh, that's right. You don't fucking have one. Folks can find me.
I got a winners league. You have none, but I at least got that European.
I've got a
Winners
European
League.
Fairs Cup, I think.
I got that European winners,
which is the
that,
equivalent of winning Britfest
and we
in Baltimore.
We should have played in Champions League, but a bunch of fucking Copites decided to riot and get us all kicked out of Europe.
Are you guys
aware?
Are you guys aware that 7th place in the Premier League, and I'm not making this up, is routinely known as the Everton Cup?
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
It's like 4th for Arsenal. Absolutely.
100%. Okay, so Turner in Verde is where folks can find me. Why they want to at this point. And if you're not turned off at this point, I don't know what you're doing, but that's where you can find me. I'd also encourage you. I had a host a Forest podcast as well called Forest Fancast. And another great Twitter account to check out is NFFC NA, which is the North American branch of the Nottingham Forest fans supporters group. So yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate your time.
Excellent. All right. Well, now it's your favorite fucking human being, the man that is eventually going to replace you. The fellow.
I actually got to take a piss real quick.
Yeah,
is that all right?
My fellow brother in drip. I mean, whose drip game is solid. One of 3 of the host of the Middle Class Holes. My personal favorite human being on earth, the smooth
that's above you,
motherfucking pimp, Alan. How the hell you doing, my friend?
How you doing, baby? When I looked at the lineup and I saw it wasn't Graham, I was like, oh, he did that on purpose. It's just better this way.
How's it going, baby?
Yeah, because we like that. We like that.
Yeah, that's smooth, man. Come on,
brother from
don't you have to go pee? Don't you have to go moose your hair or something? Get out.
As you can tell,
we got it from here, buddy. Go ahead. You've been relieved of duties.
Yeah, Alan, you got the notes. We can just go ahead and get rid of him, and you and I got the rest of the show.
Yeah, I mean, we got it.
Well, I am going to be quiet because if I speak too much, I might get dismembered by his ownership. So,
look, not out of the realm of possibility.
You are not an American journalist.
I said it. Ain't
well,
no live.
Well, you do have a press pass now, so you could be in danger. Right?
I was going to say we got press passes now. That is not out of the realm of possibility.
I am Team PGA, is all I'm saying. Okay.
All right.
I like it. I guess should we talk some football? I guess.
Oh, so Alan, we are now...
Dustin Johnson's a cut.
This is my turn to talk.
Sorry. Hashtag oil.
All right. So, Alan, you got all the money in the world. And you signed Matty Target.
Yeah, baby.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. What? I missed this.
Yeah, that's absolutely. But you talk about
his little cotton socks.
You talk about a statement signing.
You got two fairly capable goalies. Side Nick Pope.
Really wanted to let everybody know that we just You know, we're not going to go spend crazy.
No.
We just look, we got to get rid of our shitty shirt sponsors so that we can funnel money through Aramco when it's our shirt sponsor next year. Relax. We're getting there.
Inspires.
We're getting there. All right?
and then the most important thing they need is defense. What did they not sign? Any defense.
No, that's bullshit. See,
okay, you got one.
Yeah, we signed Sven Botman about a month ago.
Who?
So Sven Botman. So he came over from Lille. Young man who certainly looks the part in everything that I have seen so far in preseason. Big, strong, fast, good in the air, good with the ball at his feet, which is what we needed because Jamal Lascelles is a donkey and Dan Byrne is 8 feet tall and you can only move so fast. So yeah, that's probably the statement signing. Honestly, Pope is probably going to start that season. Surprisingly enough, it looks like he's preferred to Dubravka at this point. You know, Target, the sexiest of the signings, locking down that left back position.
Which one do you think's going to leave, Darlow or Dubravka?
Probably Dubravka.
You think Dubravka's going to go? I know Fulham's in the market and Leicester's in the market. If they can sign somebody, Schmeichel's off to Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's 2 clubs that are in desperate need of a goalkeeper. That's where Bird Leno is, and Dubravka seems to be the other one that are going to fill those 2 spots, I think.
Yeah. Most likely because for me, he's a number 1. He's a starter somewhere in the league. I mean, he's
absolutely
fantastic for us. So yeah, I think there's just a little bit of preference. I don't know what Nick Pope's great. I don't have a problem with him. I don't know what it is that Eddie sees in him over Dubravka, but he obviously sees something. So, hey, it is what it is.
So, what players are dismembered? I mean, have been sent off?
We've put a couple guys in oil drums. Isaac Hayden, Kieran Clark, and Jeff Hendrick, none of which is important. I don't know that those are major departures. But yeah. Maybe Isaac Hayden. He was a loyal servant. So, but yeah, nothing too crazy on the out. I think Dwight Gale actually left just recently. Actually, I forgot about him. And then just a couple of the younger guys. So nothing too crazy. It's been a little quiet. I think the January window, obviously, we solidified and we saw what that did for us. We're still in the market for a striker. There's crazy fucking talk about 40 million, 50 million for James Madison. I don't know where that shit came from like a day or two ago. But I mean, I won't say that we don't need him. We'll take him. I am not one of those fans, but it seems odd. Doesn't seem like what we're looking for. We're looking for a winger and we're looking for a striker, but hey, they got some kind of plan and it's not Mike Ashley's plan. I've been able to watch preseason. Someone was purchased for more than a packet of crisps. We're fine.
Excellent. So then
different feel.
So then here's the big question, because let's face it, the comparisons are simple. You have got a big influx of cash. So the comparison is what City did, right? Let's look back 8 years ago, 10 years ago at what City did. What are you expecting from the club this season? Because clearly there's going to be expectations to become better, but how better? Because there's a transition that comes with spending money incorrectly, people getting used to each other, the club as a whole having a new culture. So there's a lot going on. So what's your expectation for the club?
Yeah, my expectation is hopefully top half, and I mean that probably bottom of that top half. We finished 11th with a good run, towards the end of the year. If we can sustain that kind of form, 11 to 9th, 8th, maybe if we're getting greedy a little bit, is I think okay for me. And especially with what we've done, like you mentioned, I think it's the signings in January were calculated and maybe some a little needed. Chris Wood, a little overextended. Chris Wood, but
I don't think it was about signing him. We've said it a few times. I think it was more about weakening Burnley.
It very much was. And we needed to target
yourselves.
Yeah. We needed to target a man with Wilson out. And that's still the concern right now. We need a striker because Wilson will pull a hammy. He's going to fucking
he's an example of fucking helpiness.
All the rubber bands in that man's legs are suspect. All right.
Andy Carroll reincarnated.
Yeah. So
Andy Carroll's not dead.
Yeah, like I said, I think we're okay there. And I think the spend this summer has been calculated as well. The Target signing was it's a locker room signing. We needed him over there anyway. We had Paul Dummett. No, thanks. So yeah, I think we're okay with that. Botman's a great, I think the fantastic signing. I think you'll see Botman, Shar really get the bulk of the minutes in the middle. Like I said, I think Pope's going to start. So it's really been calculated to keep the chemistry well or good. And I think we're moving.
Excellent. All right, Alan, plug away. Talk about your show.
So much plug, right?
People can.
No, you can find us if you're looking for the Toon Army Baltimore. You can find us at Mobtown Magpies on Twitter and on Facebook. And then, like you mentioned earlier, I host a podcast that's just three dudes talking about a bunch of random bullshit. We're called the Middle Class Holes. So you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at MDL Class Holes. You can find us on Facebook and TikTok as the Middle Class Holes, and of course the Middle Class Holes on Google Podcast, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for all your listening pleasures.
I do take pride in the fact that, Sam, we have one less host and we say fuck more than they do, although they do try to say fuck as much as us.
I say it a lot.
You do, but
yeah, but it's hard to get on our level.
No.
we have a really special ability to just drop the F-bomb.
To fucking work it in wherever the fuck we can.
I like to think that monologue from A Christmas Story where he talks about my father could weave a tapestry of swear words. I look at that and I go, yeah, that's the DU football show. It's what we do. Fucking just
one of my favorite scenes in cinema was when the Boondock Saints killed all those 9 Russian mafia guys in the hotel room.
Yeah.
And then got Rocco.
Right.
And it fuck. Well, it certainly illustrates the diversity of the word. That's how I like to describe us and our use of our favorite word.
Perfect. And although this was not planned out this way, but I did want to make sure that, obviously you introduced your club and I introduced my club, but it just got lucky that you happen to be introducing your huge rivals in Spurs that Mark promptly fucked right off.
Yeah.
And now you get to talk about your other rival.
Never heard of him. Ray, my friend from Manchester United.
Yes, sir.
How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing fine, my friend. How are you doing?
All right. So really, the only question we have for you, I'm going to bugger this whole thing off, is Ronaldo staying or going? What's happening there?
Who the hell knows? Honestly, who knows? He's staying, he's going, he's staying. I don't know.
Well, you've been a brilliant addition to the show. Really appreciate your time.
Well, Manchester United, as we all know, it's like 5 years running with this show. We don't even know who we are. We've had 4 managers in 5 years, and we're starting all over again with Eric Ten Hag. So, who knows what we're going to get this year? To be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. What major signings has he brought in that maybe will change? Yeah, that maybe will change the way play and hopefully make you
which ones are Daryl and Rick not going to try to kill during the match?
So we already brought in 3 signings. We got Christian Eriksen on free. Then we got Tyrell Malaysia from Feyenoord, and then we got Sandro Martinez from Ajax. Both 2 defenders. We need a striker, so we bring in 2 defenders, but that's okay. We got no central midfielder or defending midfielder. I don't know who's coming.
Fred's there.
Well,
Fred's there. Come on.
Oh, come on.
Fred, no. And Van der Beek's coming back. You guys are set up for success.
Oh, yeah. And then
who all has left the club? Is there anybody that you're going to miss? Was there any major move made?
Oh, we lost a lot of players. I don't miss them. We lost Cavani. We lost Lingard. We lost Juan Mata, Magic. And then our favorite player of all time, Paul Pogba. He's gone again for free. So sayonara.
Nice. Let him go for free. Sign him back for $90 million. Let him go for free again.
Yes, sir.
Fucking Manchester United Business School right there, man.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. I heard Ed Woodward just signed a contract to do talks at Harvard Business School. Fucking ridiculous.
It is worth mentioning, though. Let's face it, with the new coach coming in, with Van der Beek used to play for him.
Yes,
that is. Now, who knows how he's going to play?
And Frankie de Jong is still on the cards potentially as well.
So it's kind of like having a brand new signing. Even though he was signed 2 years ago, you're bringing him in, reuniting him with the right coach that got him to the semifinals of Champions League. That's
the other
really
thing too for
changes
somebody like Anthony Martial
Mm-hmm.
that prefers a continental style of play. You know, at one point was the most expensive teenager of all time, lest we forget. Had a great loan spell last season. Played very well for Sevilla, wasn't it? That he was on loan at, and now he's come back, scored a couple of goals in preseason as well. And now he has a continental coach that maybe kind of plays the way that he likes. So maybe you don't necessarily need a striker. Maybe you have one.
Maybe. And the young,
that's not convincing. I know, but it's there's a lot of kind of speculation in that. But
and
I'm just trying to find you a positive to latch on to.
That's all right. And I just heard that Manchester United is offered 85 million for De Jong from Barcelona and offered to pay his deferred wages of 17 million that's owed to him. But who knows if he's going to sign or not?
Yeah, well, this must be lever 364 for Barcelona.
Yes.
Jesus. They need the money, so maybe that might actually tempt them. But Juan Laporta said yesterday that he would do everything he could to keep him. Said you can never say never, but I want him to stay. So who knows? Where do you guys do you think you're going to improve on your 14th place finish or whatever it was y'all were last season?
We weren't 14th, but good try though. Honestly, who knows? I know that sounds terrible, but I if we finish 7th, I'll count as success this year.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
But I think we'll finish. But I can see us finishing as high as 4th and as low as 10th. I just think it all depends on
whether or not those two center back signings start over here.
Yes.
Just a little side one here. Here's kind of the side question to that then is how much of a leash does he have? Like, is Manchester United going to be patient to realize that you finally have to build? You can't just keep throwing money at the problem.
Do you mean signing Cristiano Ronaldo was a bonehead move? Is that what you're saying?
That was bonehead.
No.
Well, 5 years ago we said we had to give people a leash, and that didn't happen.
Nope.
And we try to give old Gunny a leash. That didn't happen. So Eric probably has to perform, or he's gone. Unfortunately, with Manchester,
the evidence would suggest that.
Yeah,
evidence would prove itself.
Right. Not that you all need anywhere or any help finding each other, but where can Manchester United fans find you and any of your groups here in the area?
You can find me on Facebook and the Drunkard United football page, but I'm also belong to the Red Devils DC Facebook page, and we have a brand new home that we just secured at the Solus Outpost in the Navy Yard, which is a totally solo Manchester United supporters club, and we have our own brand new beer, Red Devils DC Lager, that's coming out on tap this Thursday. So
that's actually kind of cool. Yeah,
very good,
you know what?
good.
For all the shit your club has done over the years, that's decent.
Yes, it is.
I'll take that. That's fine.
Very
well
cool.
done. Well, thanks for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure, sir.
All righty. So
and then I got to follow this guy's got to follow me, my rival.
Yeah, well, first we're going to talk about your not rival, the noisy neighbors.
I'll handle this whole section. Saying very simple. Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
Done.
The man that didn't understand that there was an English actor telling him that he looked like a
Nordic meat shield.
Nordic meat shield. Yeah, didn't get that.
Or Viking
meat shield. He didn't understand it at all. And by the way, everybody, for a side note, we did contact that guy to find out about getting him to do some intros. Not spending 750 American dollars to get him to do an intro.
Fuck off. Are you serious?
500 pounds.
Get out.
Well, it's not
on Cameo.
Yeah. No, just in general. I actually
$500.
I spoke with their
agent,
with his representation. Yeah. And then he also would have to listen and approve us, of which I went, well, these conversations stop because he's going to listen to this and go, oh, hell no. Hell no.
No.
Remember, as always, if you don't do our show, you're obviously going down. So by that rationale, City is going down this year.
That'd be fabulous.
We say that every year.
Yeah.
We say that every year, but no.
They never go down because every year they never show up.
All right. Next up is definitely a club that we all know is going down. They walk alone frequently, even though they apparently have a song that says they don't.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
When we were at the Simon and I, we were at the at Slanja when Ray Parler was there, and we were hanging out, and I was outside with Miguel and a couple other Pat and Norm and a few other of our guys that have been around for a long time. And this Liverpool supporter walks by, started talking shit. And I was like, seem to be alone, my friend. 500 of my closest friends right here, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
It was pretty good.
So we actually have our good friend, part-time producer, regular contributor, been a OG from the get-go, and I love him dearly.
And spreader of the good word.
He always wants to make sure Jesus is looking out for us, even though we certainly don't deserve it. And a man who's been on about 37 consecutive weeks of vacation, our good friend Russ. Russ, how the fuck are you, man?
I am coming off of vacation, so I'm well rested and ready for the season.
Yeah,
that a boy.
Didn't you catch a shark or something?
Yeah, we on Monday we caught a 10-foot tiger shark down off of Hilton Head. It was about 500 pounds.
There you go.
That shit. Crazy. Yeah. All right. So let's get into obviously there's an arms race between City and Liverpool, and it's clear it's 1 and it's 2. And I want to talk all this shit being an Evertonian, but let's face it, these are the two clubs battling for the title. These are the two clubs questionably battling for Champions League. These are the teams that if you want to look at two teams and say someone could win the quadruple, you look at them and go, these are the two fucking clubs who can do it.
You know what's
Sam?
funny?
What?
Is the analogy you just used about an arms race was about City and Liverpool, right? When there's another Middle Eastern owned club that likes an arms race.
Yes, but he left already. So he can't defend himself.
It's sad.
Russ, why don't you get into the signings, the big name signings that you brought in? I've seen there's already been a couple of big moves, and who has already left the club as well.
Probably the biggest signing was re-signing Mo Salah, to a 3-year extension. So that helped solidify that front. But bringing in Nunez was a great addition. Also keeping him away from another club that just went before me. And then bringing in Caliano and Ramsey were big additions too. So we've got 3 good players all coming up front, and then Ramsey obviously filling in on the right back.
Excellent. And then, the biggest loss we know would be Sadio Mane, but who else has moved on from the club?
Mane has moved on. Minamino has moved on. Divock Origi is left, and Nico Williams was sold to Nottingham Forest, but bringing in Ramsey at, a third of what we sold him for, or what we sold Nico for, was a great addition for the club.
All right, I have to do a dig. How the hell is Liverpool Football Club ever going to beat Everton again when they've sold Divock Origi?
I was going to say Everton's best signing is Divock Origi leaving Liverpool.
I mean, it's the greatest signing ever. Love it.
I was thinking the same joke.
Yeah, just great minds, Sam. Great minds. You're like, Origi's gone. Hey, Everton has a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, brilliant.
All right, so it's a shame because we want to kind of have more of a conversation, but let's face it, we already know what the fucking expectation is.
Yeah.
The expectation
is the title.
Is the title. It's Champions League. It's win it fucking all.
Well, you know what the expectation is not going to be? It's a quadruple, because then they'll fall short again.
Yeah, exactly. Although I will say, I do have to say, and just yet another dig here, is in the great illustrious career of the Veneers, he has successfully won at least one of each of those titles in the 7 years he's been there.
Now, I can also say quickly that he already started it.
Mm-hmm.
He bemoaned we had a longer season than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's finally got his 5 fucking subs.
No. We had a longer season than everybody else. And now, because we have to play the Community Shield, we have a shorter preseason than everybody else.
that he will
bringing out the old
everything.
tricks. Yeah, I mean, much in the same way. There's that, right? Klopp ringing out the hits,
Mm-hmm.
but Frank Lampard
Mm-hmm.
quickly beat David Moyes' record as Sunderland manager, saying, "What are your expectations after these first 3 games?" And he said, "We're in a relegation battle." Before the season even started, Frank Lampard said yesterday, "We're probably going to be in a relegation battle."
Oh, Jesus.
After their last preseason fixture. That's got to fill you with fucking confidence.
And we won that one. That's the sad part. We won.
It was on the back of a win.
We won that one.
Oh, fantastic. I love it when everybody just rolls out the hits. It's so nostalgic and great.
Russ, please. Obviously, we know what the expectations are, but go ahead and let's hear Copite say it.
Yeah, going for the league, going for Champions League. Those are the 2 I want this year.
Excellent. And
probably best poised to win it, in my opinion.
Wonderful. Russ, anything you want to plug?
I'm going to plug the DU Drip Shack for you guys, because last year I got this beautiful shirt that said "You'll never drink whiskey alone." That quickly got pulled down off the site. But thank you, Mel, for putting that up. I was able to get a couple before they went out.
That is on the new site. And I made a few changes, like removing the trademark symbol.
From the liver bird?
Yeah, it was on there very small. I thought I removed it completely. I didn't, but I made a few changes. So
can't you just be a normal bad wife and just cheat on me, for fuck's sake?
No,
I'd rather fun. That. I'd much rather that.
But just wait till I come out with my top 10 list of show tunes.
Common trope. If she just cheated on you, it'd be less work for you.
I don't see why I can't do both.
Excellent. Well, Russ, thank you so much for joining in. And Mr. Graham, we pass along to you as we hit the midway point.
Yes, yet another Mark. Again, we've got Mark from Leicester this time. Has always done some great things with us here on the show. Mark, how's Leicester's summer been? What's been going on? Comings and goings. What's been happening at Leicester Football Club?
Newsflash, nothing.
Well, I mean, technically, Ademola Lookman went back to RB Leipzig, and he probably won't be back. So that's technically an outgoing, but he was a loan. Other than that, nothing. Although I'm pretty sure that Tielemans will probably go before the end. He did not sign a new contract. So, and as you mentioned, Kasper Schmeichel looks like his run might be up, which. So we probably would need another first choice keeper in that case.
Yeah, and to Nice of all places, that's a very odd move, one that I didn't see coming, because he's one of the established ones in the Premier League and a good solid keeper.
Yeah, he is, but I think that he's getting up there a little bit, and I mean, but only he and Vardy remain from the title right now. Right. Vardy's not going to go anywhere, so I don't know. I mean, he's just been through a whole lot there. I mean, he was also involved the day their owner died. He went, there's just a lot there that, I mean, maybe it's just he wants to finish up elsewhere. It's hard to say. It doesn't surprise me though, if he does move on. There's no bad blood or anything like that. So
and I think Vardy missed his chance to move, especially after the ruling recently of the High Court against his wife, and now him having to pay about $3 million in fees.
Yeah, what did they call that? The Wagatha Christie? I don't know what it was.
The Wagatha Christie affair. Yeah,
yeah, that was funny. But I think I think Vardy's there. Although I mean, we do have Patson Daka up front, and I think he's going to have a big year. So I think Vardy can kind of ease out. He will continue to be the talisman, but I don't think he's going to be the only goal threat. We have Iheanacho. We have Madison who can score goals. I mean, if you Leicester played a preseason where they had to split their team. They were both on the same day, and both of the teams they put out were actually really good. So there's a lot of depth all over the pitch at Leicester City, which I like. And everybody is mostly healthy. I mean, it looks like Ricardo might have had a little thing, but I'm not sure it's his ACL again. So, they underachieved last year we underachieved last year because we didn't have everybody healthy by a long shot. They did kind of fire their main their trainer or their main medical guy and brought in somebody else. So that may be the biggest sign, because if we can stay healthy, then we're going to be in we're going to be decent. I mean, there's been a lot of homegrown players who continue to come good, like Dewsbury Hall looks like the real deal in midfield. Luke Thomas, just there's a lot of the young players who were too young kind of the last couple of years who are really coming into their own. So I think we're in good shape, to finish definitely, between 10th and maybe challenging for 7th or something like that. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a steady year, and some of this youth to really come good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of what you guys are into right now is holding on to players like Telemans and Madison. Obviously, there's big clubs sniffing around and offering exorbitant amounts of money.
Well,
look most likely to leave, but 80 million from Newcastle is kind of hard to turn down at this point. I would imagine.
Yeah, well,
news,
there's
no
talk of
news.
Chelsea coming in for West Fofana. I mean, West Fofana is one of the top. He could be one of the top 5 defenders in the league. But I think that we will hold on to him for another year, because we didn't get our full year out of him last year.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, he had it was a broken leg or something when he was out for a long time.
Well, his leg got snapped in preseason last year, but he's super class, and he'll anchor the back line, and we're going to need that. So I don't think Leicester that they don't let their players go unless they want to, or that it's time. They learned their lesson after letting Conte go after the title year.
Season, right?
and they don't do that. If they don't want to let them go, they don't. They have enough financial wherewithal to hang on to them, and so I think we'll be we'll be solid.
Yeah, and I mean, when Mr. Trinidad Prava passed away sadly in that helicopter accident, nobody really knew what the son was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's been just as astute business wise as his father was, and they haven't really missed a beat on the board side of everything. So that gives you every chance in the world to hold on.
Well, I mean, and they there's a world-class training ground they built. They still have the youth program in place. I mean, there's when they won the title, I was like, okay, how do they keep it steady and not let this go to their head? They did that. We kept the ship steady. We didn't go for let it try to overspend and stay there. We kind of realized that was a one-off. And then, I mean, we were in the Champions League mix for 2 years running. Last year, not so much, but I think that we'll stay in that hunt for Europe. I think we liked being in Europe, and we'll be trying to get back to there, but not in a way that we're going to overspend or anything like that.
I mean,
very steady.
Be an established Premier League football club, which for Leicester, until they came up, really hadn't been. Right. So it feels like they're doing all the right things. It's not fun to talk about. It's not sexy, but if you're a supporter of that club, it's exactly what the fuck you want to have happening. I mean, belong here.
What I worry about Pax and Daka is the same thing that kind of is clouding, I guess, the expectations of Leicester Football Club is they got that 5,001. They won the fucking title. They just missed out on Europe, right? Daka promised everything. Scored 4 goals in his first game for the club in the Europa League. Hasn't shit since. So it's like you kind of find yourself in this weird spot where times were great and you have to temper your expectations while at the same time demanding something out of your football club as well.
Yeah, there are players who are fans who have those expectations, but I don't know. We stay grounded. I mean, I'm looking at an FA Cup on my wall and a Champions, Premier League championship on my wall. I'm like, I never would have thought that those things in my wildest dreams. It's like it's okay, even if we're in the middle, it's okay. Yeah. And then plus now we got the trees. We got the trees in the league now. So I mean, well, at least we'll have that for at least 1 year. So we'll have another real rival from our neighborhood there. So that'll be great.
You weren't here earlier, but the trees have already said Southampton has trees too. So that's their rival.
Southampton aren't the trees. I mean, I mean, they're the Derby or the sheep, whoever they are, and Forest or the trees.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, great. So you've already said kind of a 7th to 10th place finish is what you're going. What would be best case scenario, worst case scenario? You look in Europa League and 12th, or what are you thinking for the kind of best and worst case?
Well, worst case is, I don't know. We have so much depth. I don't see a worst case where we're struggling for relegation. The best case would be we somehow get back to sniffing around 4th or 5th like we did during the when everything was shut with COVID. But that's going to be really hard because we're not going to spend to keep up with the clubs that are pushing on that force. So I think the best case is going to be like a comfortable Europa League, like 5th or 6th. That's my best case. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything that you want to plug? Any podcasts or social media pages?
If you want to follow Leicester, I think there's a really good podcast called the U.S. Foxes podcast, and this year, the other guy that I plugged last year, who's the New York Foxes, Jason, he's actually joining that podcast full time. So you got, and he's been pushing Leicester when Leicester wasn't cool, like for years and years and years. So you got the best of the U.S. Leicester City or the U.S. Leicester people by following that podcast. So I would check that out. U.S. Foxes.
Awesome. Great, Mark. Thank you for your time as always, my friend. Nice to talk to you.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk to you. Yeah. Let me on the show other than this. I mean, call me back. I'd be happy to talk about it.
Hell yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, Sam makes all the decisions. I get no say in it. I actually ask for you every week, but
well, we'll try to be more of an interesting club this year. So we'll try to have some interest.
Sam, meet bus.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Trust me. I felt that tire, the front tire go over my neck and the back tire go over my knees. I felt it both ways, straight through. Well done.
Any opportunity I can.
I'm just amazed you with the fluffy hair able to pick my 400-pound ass up and throw me underneath said bus.
It gives me power.
It gives me power. All right. Well, it's time. It's time for the man that has been known to be better than Brody.
Well, Brody's not even here. Geckel is on the show.
but then of course that would mean I couldn't have my esteemed colleague Mr. Williams on in a minute. But so that's the only reason why Mr. Brody's not here. But our boy.
Yeah, but it was just fun to say.
Apparently, they've now decided they're the United States club. They're going to try to take it away from Fulham. Our boy, Mr. Geckel, Leeds United. Dave, how you doing, bro?
Good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
Doing pretty well. This thing is going surprisingly smooth. Of course, the Spur fucked everything up as always. As always, the Spur fucked everything up. And other than that, we're doing pretty damn well.
I just took Rand's chair.
I see that. So, Dave, a lot of movement going on with Leeds so far as you move beyond Bielsa and into the Jesse Marsch era. You have decided to sign all the Americans. Please tell us about your signatures.
God, fucking did it again.
Yeah, it feels a lot like when you get promoted to the Premiership from the Championship. It's, a lot of signings. And then those, the great loan players that got you up, they have to go back to their parent club. So, yeah, it's like you said, the Americans, we have Brandon Aronson and Tyler Adams, who I'm both excited and terrified for, because if this goes wrong, then now it looks bad on America. And I've always been a big U.S. soccer fan. So I'll always stump for American soccer players. And I'll say soccer because that's how I was raised and I'm American and I'm proud. But so we also got just about anyone else who has ever come in contact with Jesse Marsch. We signed Rasmus Christensen right back from Salzburg. And we got Mark Rocca, who was not, that was more of our director of finance, Victor Orta. He started at Espanyol, spent 2 years at Bayern, just couldn't break in ahead of, Kimmich and the other center midfielders they have. So he had limited time, but nobody from Bayern had bad word to say about him, but he was just looking for game time. So Adams and Rocca are kind of the 2-for-1 replacement for Calvin Phillips as we transition to a double pivot.
That was the next thing is the goings. Let's face it, the name it's Phillips and Rafinha. That's fucking huge. And
oh yeah,
how do you move on beyond that? It seems like you've made the right signings, but that's
unproven Premier League.
And
unproven in the Premier League. That's the question mark.
And it is D2. If you're talking about the best players on your squad, you lost both of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, Calvin Phillips was hurt for a large chunk of the season last year. And then when he came back under Marsh, he didn't look the same to me in the Marsh system. I don't know how much of that was he was coming back from an injury and then the change of the system. And then Rafinha was a winger who likes to hug the touchline, but the March system is much more compact. But I mean, they're not going to. Rafinha is a starter for Brazil. Like you're just not going to replace that unless you got top 6 money. So they did sign his right-footed Colombian non-union equivalent in Luis Sinisterra from Feyenoord, who is an inverted winger, but instead of on the right, he's a right-footed left winger, inverted winger. But unfortunately, he got hurt in the Palace friendly like a week or two ago. So I think he's a doubt to start week 1. But 20 goals and 10 assists in the Dutch league, and the conference, the McRib Cup. So, I mean, that's not, the Premier League is a whole different animal.
Right.
But if he can get, 7 and 7 or somewhere around there.
Bamford's fit, right? I mean, that's almost like a new signing after how much time he was out last season.
Yeah. So he scored twice today against Cagliari, which is like basically a relegation fodder Serie A team. But, it was good. He got a whole preseason. Most of these signings, other than Sinisterra, who got hurt, have had a whole preseason. So they've at least kind of bedded the team in. And then Adams and Aronson and Christensen have all played with Marsh before, so they kind of know the system. So even though it is a lot of incomings, at least there's some familiarity.
Very good.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Big question. Expectations for the club this season.
Yeah. So I think they raised kind of the floor of the team, but the ceiling is obviously lower. So I think 15th, and they are fairly safe all year, and it's not going to be as a squeaky bum time as it was last year.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, keep people fucking healthy, and you actually have some depth now helps as well. Yeah, it's not the Bielsa. I have 11 guys, and if 11 guys can't play,
then I play 10.
Then I play with 10, or I put tape on and you go play. We shall all survive. This is Bielsa ball. I'm going to walk around in circles and talk to myself.
Yeah. A hand grenade outside of his house.
Exactly.
What?
Naked in the dark on the physio table. The Bielsa story.
I do miss that.
Dave, please promote anything Leeds United for across the United States. And if you want to shit all over Maryland, Baltimore, and DC not getting a World Cup bid, by all means, do that at this time as well.
Oh, no, you had to. Oh, God. Yeah. That'll take too long.
Said we were trying not to make it a 2-hour show.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So if you're a Leeds fan, Leeds United America's on Facebook. We got it's a solid group. There's match threads every week. People are not too insane, not too the sky is falling. And then I'm in the DU Facebook group all the time. So if you want to add me on Facebook, add me on Facebook.
He's actually in there more than Brody.
Yeah. Better than Brody, baby. Better than Brody. Thank you, Mr. Geckel. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody else.
All right. So the very polite, very astute, normally Fitz group, Fulham in the South, that we deal with a lot for our Fulham needs. just didn't fucking answer this time.
I know how very unfulmish.
How very
them.
unfulmish of them.
I mean, normally, no, trust me. Later on tonight, my phone's gonna be blown up with the. Oh, so sorry, man. Oh my god, I totally forgot. I get like in the most fulmish way humanly possible.
Of course, and then tomorrow morning you'll wake up to a charcuterie board delivered to the front door with a bow on it.
I was just waiting to say that.
Isn't that what we are all wishing for?
Absolutely, yeah. I could go for some charcuterie right now. That'd be brilliant. Soak up some of this booze. So Fulham, obviously their expectations are going to land within 15th to 17th, in my opinion. They're not going to push on for any sort of insane heights. I don't think like we saw from Wolves a few years back, and making the Europa League on their first time of asking. But I think they have a better shot at staying up this time because of having a manager with Premier League experience in Marco Silva and a more expansive style of play while still being relatively organized. I know that's not something we associated with him at Everton necessarily, but I think he is good enough that he has learned from that experience. And
I mean, it's a record-breaking club coming out of the Championship. It's not like the Farka Norwich that just goes down and dominates. I mean, this team just dismantled the Championship.
They did some business, but they didn't overdo business like they did last time.
Yeah, that's and
I think that's understated this summer.
Is they're kind of the exact opposite of the last time they came up. So you figure they're smarter, but are they maybe too smart for their own good?
Could be. Maybe they didn't add in the right places, or so it obviously remains to be seen. They are going to be a relegation candidate, obviously, with their recent history in the Premier League. It's not going to be as straightforward of an expectation as somebody, that came up with a little bit more gumption, say Brentford.
Well, I was about to say, don't worry. In a few spots, there's somebody from Australia who will say they're going right the fuck down.
I don't think it's as straightforward as that, where we both rightfully, in my opinion, assumed that Brentford was going to stay up at the start of last season. So they're gonna need some work. It's gonna be a long old slog this season, in my opinion. But they have every chance to do it, and hopefully Marco Silva has his shit together and they can.
Excellent. And just for people on the social side, Fulham in the South, the Fits, they're a great fucking crew of people, and active on Twitter, and they do Zoom shows all the time for games, and they're a lot of fun. They're an awesome fucking crew. Maybe I'll
tell them I'm coming and then not.
They very much embody the Fulhamish attitude of things. So continuing now, all that really matters, the People's Club. Allow me to turn around real quick. I gotta grab something here. I gotta put this around my neck here. As we get started, we need to be official. I need to make sure I have my official press pass from the Charm City match as we get ready to talk to.
Why did I not ask for one of those? That was really dumb.
Because you don't have a producer, Mel.
That's true, Mel. But I probably would have suckered the Toffee TV guys into throwing me into their crew, considering I did pick them up in the airport and had to listen to all of them and their Liverpool banter for an hour and a half driving into DC. And having grown up in Pittsburgh, thought I knew what banter was. I am wrong. I was wrong. It was brutal.
Ryan,
well, here's a bit of banter for you. You're pimping this press pass, which was Mel. Thank you very much. But you're doing it for your club, which you lost 2-0 at the game you were a press junket for.
I know, but here's the important thing, and you don't even realize this, is that Ryan, you might have driven them in a car. We were in a room with them where we all got food, talking to Mo, and they had no idea who we are. So
that's funny.
Way up on you.
All of them. Who the fuck are those guys?
Oh, there's something else, right? Yeah, I love those guys, but yeah, they're special in their own way, as is Everton.
So now, Ryan, here's the key thing. We need to now, it's about time that the American Toffee podcast recognizes us as esteemed colleagues. Because we did this. You didn't do that. There he is. He's bowing. He understands. He understands.
Respect.
That is the DU Football Show.
Jose Mourinho. Respect.
Yes, exactly. See,
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
And Ryan, if you had gotten a press pass, you wouldn't have failed at the basics of life, like Jose once said.
That's fair.
I would also say, just a word of life advice is, don't ever discount the ability of a shot in the dark email. It's one of the, we've all done it before our wives. We were drunk and DM somebody. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. That being said, I'm not so sure they would have done some research and found out that I was not, I shouldn't be there in press capacity. So maybe that was a good decision on their part.
I met my wife shot in the dark email.
You know.
All right, what it is. So we've signed Dwight McNeil. Everything's fixed. He scored a brace in his first match. You're done, right? That's it.
Yeah, we're good.
Does he still have a porn stash?
I didn't watch the match. Does he have a porn stash still?
Nah, it's just kind of like, it's nothing really there, honestly. I mean, he's a kid. He's like 22, man.
All right. So,
no, I think he was one of the ones that were sneaky. We thought he was young, but he's not.
All right. No, he's only 22. He's
22. For real?
Yeah, he's only 22. He started his first matches with Burnley was at 18 years old, which is funny because obviously we're going to talk about the signing. You think about it, you're like, he's just someone who has been established with that club as a regular starter forever. And he's only 22 years old, and we got him pretty fucking cheap, which was
came up with United. Actually, that's the interesting part. He's from North Manchester. So
Ryan, go ahead and chat about obviously the major signings that we've brought on, and then of course, Richie, I will always love you leaving.
Right. Yeah, that's a big one. The big departures for Charleston. No one else really matters. In terms of signings incoming, James Tarkowski is in on a free. Solidify center half a little bit.
It's an adult. We need an adult playing center back, and we got an adult.
Yeah, I think he has some history of actually being able to move the ball a little bit better too. So I think hopefully he'll fit in. He might be asked to do a little too much in Frank's setup. Ruben Vinagre has come over to kind of be a backup left back and provide a little more of a wing back from the left side. And
Ryan, I'm sorry. You said you needed an adult playing center back, but with the
Sam said that
tackles that Tarkowski's put in, you signed a drunk uncle.
It's true. And trust me, because he's with Everton, those are all going to be Reds now.
Yeah, right. But he'll be beloved. That's the beauty of it, right? You know,
I mean, come on, the Baltimore match. It was a complete shit show. We looked like crap. All we cared about. Well, Tarkowski got in a scrap at the end. He wasn't fucking
right. Cleaned out.
He's one of us. We're going to be all right.
Was it Cedric or somebody cleaned out right at the end?
It was so obvious it was coming too, because he kind of bumped him a little bit. And then like the first chance he got to lay in, he just wiped him out. And then the best part about it was he did, like, I was kind of that type of player back in the day. He turned his back on the play and just kind of walked away like there was nothing. Like, we know what you're doing, man. It was so obvious.
Bro. King of that shit right here.
Oh, yeah. You love it. You'd be like, oh man, this is an exhibition. I can't believe you just did that.
Ryan, it's okay to admit that you've done the exact same thing that my co-host has done in indoor, where he'd do the hard tackle, be walking away, getting handed the yellow card. He's not even looking. He's just, fuck off. Whatever.
My specialty was the help myself up, because we both went down, and I may put my hand on your head or your face. I mean, I was just trying to help myself up. It wasn't, you got to wind people up. Well, I will say this: Tarkowski and Jerry Mina, if he could stay healthy, those are two. They're going to be absolute wind-up merchants. Everyone is going to hate those guys at Everton if they don't already.
Yeah, kings of shithousery.
Yeah. And I think the other addition too, it's looking like Idrissa Gana guy is going to come back to Everton, I think, on a 2-year deal on a free. It's going to be difficult. I don't know how they're going to make the wage work. But look, the bottom line is the big gap right now is defensive mid. So they've got to sign someone that's capable of playing that, because otherwise you're not going to be able to play really the 4-3-3 that Frank wants to play. Otherwise, you're going to stick Alon, who's not healthy, and as a 6, he's more of an 8, and Decore's kind of the same thing. But look, I mean, last year was a terrible year if you're an Everton fan. I mean, absolutely dreadful, terrible. But there are pretty good reasons for that. So, and really, I break it down to 3 different things: injuries, tactics, and bad luck. Tactics includes everything Rafael Benitez literally did. But look, injuries. I mean, you guys realize Everton played 33 players last year, most in the league. Everton have not had a field player play more than 3,000 minutes in 2 years. Like,
Jesus. It's just 33 players. That's 4 less than Nottingham Forest have signed. So
it's unbelievable, right?
About.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, we need to rotate this year. Apparently the 5 subs will be up there anyway.
Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's far. I mean, I think the next is like 31. Yeah, look, I mean, use Alex Iwobi properly. You've got a lot more options now up top if you're going to play. I mean, guys that could both tuck inside and play outside. You finally have a lefty in McNeil. Gordon, Gray, I mean, they're interesting players. Dele Alli is a fascinating player. Either way, it does give them some adaptability. Patterson and Mikalenko on the wingbacks or fullbacks actually have a summer to get used to it other than being thrown into the fire from January. And I think Mina not having Columbia commitments is a massive difference. He is an absolute difference maker for that team. He's a fantastic center half.
Did he finally learn to speak English?
I think he's kind of like it's like the Yao Ming Shaq thing where he didn't speak English for the first 2 years, only realizing that later he did the whole time, and that's why you should have maybe talked to him. Thank you, my brother. You've seen that speech?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
it's so good. I was like, "What? You could speak English?" It's like, "Yeah, you never talked to me." Okay,
Ryan, you're willing to now admit that I was right all along. That Rafa was a transplant by the deep state to ruin us as a football club, and that it just all the documents I had, they were right. They were right.
I mean, look, the thing is, Sam, I can't argue it.
Usually Sam's right.
I mean, I can't argue it. I mean, everything you said was perfectly supportable. Now, I don't believe I ever entirely denied that. Other people were like happy. People thought he was going to be the stabilizing force, which I found to be one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Like, no one is. I mean,
well, listen, the evidence is there. Champions League winner.
When?
Budgeted news.
When's the evidence there? He hasn't been an effective manager in a decade. I mean, really, what was the last job he did that was good?
Newcastle.
No,
they gave him 12 quid and a spaghetti dinner.
The second he left, what happened? Did they do any worse the next year?
Yeah, Steve Bruce.
No, they didn't actually.
Yes, they did.
No, the performance is almost identical year over
They
year.
only had sausage rolls.
Look, he won the championship. I think that's really great. But I think the problem is with Rafa is he didn't know any of the players. He misused almost everyone in the entire team. I mean, and you screw up the tactics.
They fit.
No, I mean, he bought the guys he wanted. Why didn't they play well?
Who, Salomon Rondon, when y'all were under financial fair play restrictions?
That's who he picked, man. You didn't have to buy him.
Hey, look,
either way, the point is everyone he misused
most of the season.
With Rondon, we'll always have that red card against Brentford.
Dude, he played Townsend inside and Iwobi outside. Are you mad on the right side? Continually stuck people in the wrong positions over and over. Played the same 4-2-3-1, constantly flowing everyone to the ball. Tried to play with Charlison and Damari Gray as 10s.
Yeah. Yep.
Guys that dwell on the ball, which the whole premise of his counterattacking football, which can still work, Sam. It can. It's not like it can't. Is to be quick and turn the ball quickly. The only guy who had to do that was Iwobi, and he didn't play him there.
Yep.
I mean, what can you say, man? I mean, it's just it never changed. So set pieces. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Everton gave up 19 set piece goals last year. 19. Mm-hmm. So you got to hope that's going to get better. Personnel helps that a little bit.
Tarkovsky fixes that.
Yeah, it helps it a lot.
He fixed it, but he was hurt.
Mina, Dominic Calvert-Lewin helped. Yeah, sure. But look, I mean, the bottom line is Everton had, according to FBref, 39.7% possession. That was literally the worst possession number of all the top 5 leagues.
Oh,
yeah, that's bad.
That's why y'all keep the ball after the Baltimore game from 9-2 to 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, and the bottom line is there was some bad luck there. I mean, you can't argue it. I mean, 5 own goals. Like, really? No one else had more than 3. And then if you look at like
Michael Keynes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, he's like a walking one. And if you look at like post shot expected goals, if you get into that whatsoever, and you compare the difference between that and the actual goals scored against, it's like a spread of almost 6 from a +3 last year. I mean, you could argue it's, the metrics aren't perfect, but the point is that's a lot of good shots faced too. I just think there's a lot of things that played against them last year that aren't here this year. I think there's still questions, right? I mean, Frank Lampard a proven tactical manager? I don't know. But it does seem like people are really behind him, and I think the fans are behind him too. So I think they'll be comfortably mid-table. I don't think
I do have to just say real quick.
I was going to bring it
chat.
up. Please bring it up in the chat. That was brilliant.
Ray said 5 own goals. I swear Maguire had 10.
All right.
Or Harry Maguire.
Actually, Ryan, you just said exactly what I was going to get to, which is where do you figure we're going to be? And for me, I like as a supporter, I just want fucking normalcy.
Yeah.
I'll be okay with 12th place. Just some normalcy to this club, like some balance, just normalcy. That's it, really.
Well, I mean, it's going to still take some growing pains. I mean, Frank even admitted they weren't like really getting into a lot of tactical stuff. And we saw that on Thursday when we were there, Sam, hanging out, watching training. They were more focused on some of the fundamental aspects of the play rather than tactically preparing for the exhibition matches, which I frankly disagree with. I mean, imagine Pep Guardiola saying like, geez, we, didn't do tactics when you were practicing. It's just maddening. It's crazy, but that's his style. He felt like the players himself needed the boost of confidence individually and work. And, it's his way of managing. I think that was a perfect storm the last year, guys. I don't think it'll be the same issue this year. I don't think we'll be pushing for Europe or anything. A lot of things would have to break right. Not totally impossible, but I think otherwise it's a mid-table team, Yep.
I mean, honestly, the whole season for me rests on whether Dominic Calvert-Lewin stays fit.
It makes a big difference, Andrew.
You missed his goals last season. Richarlison's too streaky. You missed his goals. And if Richarlison's your main man, which he's not going to be at Tottenham, that's a +4 Tottenham. Right. Is they could throw him into the mix for the last 10 minutes every 4 games if necessary, right? You're not going to replace Kulusevski, Son, or Kane. You know what I mean? So he may turn up, a goal every 25 minutes on average, right? Because that's all he needs to play. When he's your main man at Everton, and as streaky as he is, he was the same way at Watford.
Yeah.
Scored 16 goals in the first 7 games, didn't score for 8 months, and then had 4 in the last 10 or 4 in the last 3 rather to save their season that year. That's tough. Dominic Calvert-Lewin stays fit. Everton are going to be a lot more comfortable than they would be otherwise.
I think they'll probably address that too for the rest of the window. I mean, I'm pretty confident they're going to get another attacking player. What does that mean? Is Solomon Rondon a great proxy for Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Not the way they want to play this year.
Right.
So I think that buys down that risk a little bit if they can find kind of the right guy there, but that's not going to be easy to do, obviously. And I agree with you, Sam. I think that's true. If they get the guy when he's fit and healthy, he's a unique player and he's a tough matchup for people too. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think they'll be okay. They do have a lot more depth. They can deal with the injuries better and have a little more tactical flexibility, I think, with some of the players. I don't think it will all go south, but it's Everton, so you never know.
Yeah, we can Everton that.
Last point.
Yes.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin is as important to Everton as Patrick Bamford's goals are to Leeds.
Huh? I'd agree with that.
And you saw what happened last season without the both of them versus the season before where they both were comfortable.
Yeah. I actually think Mina is equally as important to that team. Those are the two guys.
I would tend to agree with that. Tarkovsky, I think, papers over.
Helps. Yeah, it does. He does a little bit. You're right. He gives them a solid presence back there, especially they're going to play a back 3. They can kind of throw him in the middle now. It's a little bit of a proxy.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that, Sam. I do.
All right, Mr. Williams, plug away.
Tell
us all about the ATP.
Yeah, check out the American Toffee podcast. We're pretty much out there, sponsored by Blue Wire. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Me, James, and Alex, we do post-match stuff. We do some stuff in between, and you can get us on social media at the American Toffee Podcast, and I'm at Ryan Soccer AA. Give me a shout. We're all pretty responsive, and I really appreciated being on the show and being invited again, guys. I love your pod.
Dude, thank you so much.
Ryan,
I'm not doing it.
I've seen you. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to push you into it. You'll do it. It'll happen naturally. It'll happen naturally. It's the whole bit of we want Ryan to say the F word.
We have a family show at the American Toffee Podcast. So I don't even know why, honest to God.
By the way, I was just about to remind all the listeners, real quick, that the AA at the end of his Twitter handle is not Alcoholics Anonymous. Don't worry, you can get in touch with them. We're not going to force you into a meeting.
No, but I went through the 12-step program to not swear, so apparently that's how it works now, right?
He and I had plenty of drinks together.
Yes, we did, and there was plenty of swearing.
And he also said the F word a lot.
I just want to know.
I mean, I'm from Pittsburgh, man. Are you kidding?
That we're not trying to sponsor a meeting.
As I open a beer.
Right.
It's the simple fact that we were all in Baltimore together. I still have not seen Ryan, James, and Alex in the same place together at the same time. It doesn't fucking exist. It's all made up.
On Saturday?
No, we never saw each other on Saturday.
There's video evidence and pictures. I mean, yes, it could have been doctored.
I didn't see it. We were only parking lots away from each other. You were in N, we were in D. We were right there next to each other.
Oh, I know.
We had that D parking lot because
by the press access.
Because we had this thing right here, that we asked for. We had this thing.
You guys got press access for that? That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you.
That's where the F-bomb would come in, by the way, right there.
Exactly. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it.
Happened.
All right, Mr. Graham, who do we got up next?
I don't know.
Oh,
fuck.
You know exactly who
God
it is.
damn it. It is my first, the original, the OG of Nemesises.
You're saying before Allen?
Yeah. Absolutely, I am, because when he came in the first time, I hated his fucking guts. It's Brad Parker, Crystal Palace supporter.
Don't we all? Hey, Sam, great job getting JJ Watt as your Everton supporter. That was cool. That was very cool.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
All right, Brad.
I got Harry Kane the other day.
No, I'm not buying that.
Do you breathe through your nose or mouth?
Well, you've heard me speak. I mean,
if you breathe through your nose, then it can't possibly be fucking Harry Kane, because he
does have an interesting voice, doesn't
he? Yeah, it's weird.
He does.
It's kind of how like we view Dale Jr.
Yes.
You can't understand a fucking word he says, but he's speaking English. It's strange. Brad, Crystal Palace, we have each other on the opening day of the season, actually.
We do. Friday. We're starting the whole Premier League off.
The old 3 p.m. Which is also, I mentioned pre-show, actually, a lot better than the championship got started off with. Huddersfield Burnley. Thanks, football gods.
That was fantastic.
Really appreciate you.
That was, and what a thrill that game was, too.
Actually, apparently, I heard it was a lovely affair.
There was a goal.
Ooh, yay.
I mean, that's a fucking highlight for those two.
Yeah. All right. So, Brad, why don't you tell us what Crystal Palace has been up to this summer? And I'm going to make sure I DM this entire video to Mikel Arteta.
Okay, got it. And by the way, based off of what just happened with Everton, we only have like 18 minutes to cover this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, got it.
That's how. See, he likes to make fun of me that I make it about myself, but it's bullshit. He goes off on tangents all the time with his club. It's ridiculous. It's his little rush of blood. It's the first boner he's gotten in 3 months, and then it's weird.
He also doesn't mention that off camera the entire time. My hand is going like this.
Going this way on the day that the women bring it home. Come on. Come on. So
right,
we'll talk about the
Brad, you're all finished. Let's go ahead and plug whatever you need to plug.
All right.
Your Highness.
We'll talk about who left, because that'll be really, really fast. Martin Kelly is gone.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Czech Kouyaté.
Oh, that's actually a decent loss.
He was a decent player for us. He covered midfield and defense when we needed him. And of course, the loan of Conor Gallagher is gone. He's back at Chelsea. But we've had a second really good summer bringing in players. Czech Decore from Lens, 20 million. He's going to be our CDM. Malcolm Ebiowe from Derby. So the last 2 years, what we've really done is gone after younger players and signed them on 5-year deals. We've done that with both of these guys. Sam Johnstone, not the younger player, but he's going to be the future at goal, because Guaita is 33, something like that. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He'll be gone after next year. Johnstone, he's got a 4-year deal. After next year, he's going to be our keeper. He's been an England keeper. He's the future there. And then Chris Richards. We've got our little U.S. player trying to take over for Leeds. He'll be a defenseman for us. I think that's showing that this year, future Arsenal manager Patrick Vieira wants to switch up formations this year. We were almost exclusively 4-4-2 last year. He wants to go 3 at the back some this year. With Richards, we're going to be able to do that. So, again, really good, smart, long-term signings, people that will be able to sell in the future for a profit. We have depth now, which I don't think we've had in the past 50 years. So, positive things happening. And then, I almost feel like Eze being fully back from his Achilles injury is like a new signing.
Huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Big time. I picked him up in fantasy as well for the other league, the paid league.
Yeah. Well, and especially because of his impact 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hell of a player.
Well, and the other thing too that you mentioned with the depth point, and Palace has always been a club that's kind of operated within financial fair play, right? Properly. Patrick Vieira inherited a squad that was old as fucking dirt.
Yes, it was. It was like my age.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. All geriatric players. I mean, I'm sure they got a tax break for employing such old people.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I'm just loving him on the Zune with the bucket hat,
yeah,
beard, living in Narnia.
He's about to walk outside and go fishing right now.
Soon I'm at the beach.
Yeah, we might as well have Vitaly back on the show. Jesus Christ. Yeah. But so it's going to take a couple of windows to obviously rectify some of those problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the first one was last summer. Brought in six.
Exactly. But it seems like Vieira and the board have done the right things.
Yeah.
In doing so. They've been not only smart signings, they've also been smart signings in terms of addressing areas of the pitch that they need. But they also have lowered the average age of the squad, obviously, which needed to be done.
I mean, perfect example is you look at the loan of Gallagher last year. It's because Eze was hurt.
Correct.
And now Gallagher's gone and Eze's
Eze's back.
It was and then that position never got lost.
Right. But we always bring in somebody from Chelsea, right? Mm-hmm. So we still have a month to go in the window. Now the rumors have started that
Ruben Loftus-Cheek
bring Loftus-Cheek back again. Yep. So is it going to be Loftus-Cheek? Is it going to be Gallagher again? Because Tuchel doesn't seem to be loving him so far this year, although he had an amazing Panenka over here in America. I don't know if you guys got to see.
No, I only saw when they lost 4-0 to my boys.
Well, no. He had a pen where he tried a Panenka and the keeper didn't move, and he just barely dribbled it right to the keeper. The guy didn't move, and it was the worst penalty ever taken. So, nice. Gabe will talk to you about how that's going. But one of those guys or someone else, every year they send it to it.
Yeah,
somebody's coming from East London.
I'm assuming not.
Just resigned to it.
West London or East London down to Palace. Someone will come down. But there are rumors of another striker coming. But that was another thing last year. You never knew who was going to start up front. Was it going to be Benteke? Was it going to be Mateta? Was it going to be Edouard? And our final friendly yesterday, Edouard scored twice. Zaha's been on fire. The last 4 games he scored 5 times, so he's ready to go. They seem to be playing really well. Everybody's happy and optimistic. Vieira's got the project moving in the right direction.
Yeah, fair enough. And with that, where are you going to finish? What's going to happen? What are your expectations this season? Are you going for 7th place Everton Cup? Or are you going for 17th? God, I love that again.
No, I mean, I feel like
Fulham Cup.
Let's talk about the academy for a while. No, I feel like the infrastructure is in the right place. They, like you said, the long-term plan is in place. So I don't, I'm going to jinx everything right here, but I don't think we're in the 17th, 16th, 15th.
I don't either, to be honest with you.
So I think it's time to move. Hopefully we're going to move to the top half finally, and that's where we're going to be. Best case scenario, 7th place. We're battling around there. Most likely, we're gonna try and get in the top half this year.
I mean, honestly, Sam, last year he came on this show. He was talking all positivity. We both looked at each other and said, the man is smoking fucking crack.
Mm-hmm.
And that team, as far as you want to talk about a team completely turning around their organization, it was fucking Palace.
Yeah, and they needed an Arsenal legend to do it.
Yeah. They did. Yeah. And guess what? He's not leaving.
Not yet.
I tell you this. I can tell you this much.
But when
Brad
he does,
Brooks-
maybe he'll get Roy the Boy back.
We're gonna.
Yeah, that's right. He's never gonna die.
We're gonna. I mean, I have no choice but to believe in you because I mean, fucking prove us wrong. I mean, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. It was an impressive club to watch. As if you're looking at it as a neutral, you're just like, yeah, that team figured it all the fuck out.
Yeah, no, absolutely they did. I mean, the board there is pretty smartly run, to be honest, and they've done.
Don Texter, an American, putting a ton of money in and doing it with multiple clubs. He's got a club in Brazil. He's got a club in France now. He's got a club in. He's got another Dutch club that he's owning now. He's trying to build an entire community of clubs where they're going to start shifting players around. And then you've got Dougie Friedman, who's doing a fantastic job where he says, I'm just going to go sign winners.
That's working out very well for Watford. Anything you'd like to plug, my friend, before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, we've got 14 members of the CPFC Dallas crew heading over to Selhurst Park on August 20th to see us play against Villa, because we all know what Villa does, so we want to be there for it.
That's well,
why wouldn't you?
Bring a condom.
That's right. That's right. I am on Twitter, Crystal Palace DC. Crystal Palace DC. The US Twitter is Homesdale USA. Find some of my designs. I've done them for almost every club in the Prem. Redbubble, search Brad P CPFC. This summer, won a contest for a jersey design on the kits across America. So happy to help any of the clubs out there. If you have a design you want to do, if you want a shirt, if you want a jersey for your supporters club, reach out, except for Paul, because Brighton sucks. And today's a special day. As of today, it is 1,250 days since Brighton beat Palace.
The old 1250 anniversary.
Oh,
it's one we all celebrate. It's one we all look forward to.
Jesus.
It just happened to fall on today.
Now, Brad, you're gonna
bucket hats are back.
You're gonna get your opportunity to throw another little dig, because unfortunately he had to leave because he had a prior commitment.
Yeah, if you want me to cover Brighton, I'm available.
He's like,
I know all their signings.
He's like, I'm sitting here right now with
I got all their signings covered.
And alcohol and an uncanny ability to talk about Brighton.
Yeah, they've signed.
They've signed this.
Spoiler. They've signed Dick. And they've
Zebby.
gotten $50 million from Mark Cucurella.
And they don't want it.
Oh,
They got nothing. They got a big plastic stadium, a bunch of plastic fans. I got more fans going to Selhurst than they have in America.
Goodness.
All right, moving on. It's time to talk about the club everybody loves to hate.
By the way, thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
You know,
I know.
Somewhat appreciate your
Love
time.
you guys. You don't hate me that much anymore.
Yeah, there's the tie for Arsenal. So he kind of likes you. You kind of like him a little now. All right, it's time. Let's talk about the club that things should be looking up. You changed ownership. There's a new movement. You know, you're trying to bring in some new players. You've made a couple of nice signings. Things seem to be right, but at the same time, they can't help but feel wrong. Gabe, how the hell are you? Let's talk Chelsea.
First of all, let's just get started. I'm just glad I still have a team to support after last year. Like, the bar's real low. I mean, Russian war crime. It was crazy. Like, I was in thinking about my own morals. Like, it was more than football should do to a person.
You just like, hurry up, get the Russians out of there. God, for the love of fucking Christ, get the Russians out of there.
Imagine poor Todd Bowley like looking through the closets in Stamford Bridge, like, holy shit. Like, Lord only knows what he's run into. He's like, oh no, that's really illegal. Like, I feel so bad for that dude. Like, the Dodgers are probably one of the best run professional franchises anywhere, and this dude's trying to make it a legitimate. Anyway, I could go. I don't want. I could talk all day, but
just because he mentioned the Dodgers, I have to mention this as a Giants fan. At least we've gotten 3 World Series rings
here we go.
from 2010 till currently, and they've only gotten 1. So just
go O's, hon. I'm a Orioles.
Yeah. What I will say is nobody was happier to see the invasion of Ukraine than the Saudi owners of Newcastle, because it took the attention off of them for a moment.
Absolutely.
All on Roman.
They were able to get the fit and proper person test. Didn't exist. It was fine. We got to worry about this shit.
Yeah.
So Gabe, let's talk about
third in the Premier League, second in the racist charts. How's Chelsea doing?
I know it's
as long as we're going down. That's all.
Only to Millwall. Second only to Millwall.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. It's Sam's segment.
We're improving. Hey, we're less racist. But honestly, it's a mix, right? So you bring in a couple of really marquee signings, but at the same time, you have to look at the people going away. And like last season, it can't be ignored. You bring back Romelu Lukaku, which seemed to be the absolute perfect fit. And then when the season started, things worked, and it was like, this is a team that can legitimately challenge. I mean, both Sam and I in our preseason predictions were on the bandwagon. We both put Chelsea winning the fucking league. Like we're like, fuck what City and Liverpool are doing. Chelsea made the right fucking changes, and
coupled with the lack of signings at Liverpool and Chelsea, Liverpool and City, we thought they stagnated a bit while Chelsea made the right improvements.
And then in the inter moment of trying to do things, it all went fucking wrong. Horrifically
interview.
Wrong. Yeah. He just, he intervened his thoughts about being in a better place. And after that moment, it just all went to shit.
It all went to shit.
Well, I mean, he's done it before to Chelsea, which is kind of hilarious. With just kind of not being invested halfway. I mean, Chelsea was in first in December. Like they were doing what we thought they were going to do. And then once he got, I don't know, maybe had a nice piece of lasagna downtown and started thinking Italian thoughts, he just completely left. He just wasn't there anymore. And then we were playing with a false 9 and it just didn't work. With Werner and Pulisic and Havertz, they're trying to play Havertz. And Havertz is a very skilled player, but he needs to play off of somebody. He can't be by himself out there. So it
needs to play on a pitch that doesn't involve Yuri Mina, because if it involves Yuri Mina,
right the dome piece.
It's done.
Kai Havertz strikes me as the same sort of privileged dickhead that Patrick Bamford is. He had a very good upbringing. He has no desire whatsoever, but he's really skilled at what he does. He's just done it with the drive and the heart. You know what I mean?
He's one of those players, like, you hate his guts, and then he'll do something absolutely incredible. Like, I love that guy. He's amazing because he'll find space. He's a very creative player. He's a great player, but you need to have a solid team around him for him to work.
That was like Donald Trump and the making animal cruelty a felony.
Well, I will say
you did something good, man. Thanks.
Exactly. Well, it's funny. Having Sterling on Chelsea is like a brain trip for me after watching the Premier League so long to see him in a Chelsea jersey. But honestly, another consistent, our 8 billion solid midfielders on Chelsea. We added him, and then Koulibaly was a nice pickup from Napoli. In all seriousness,
he completely replaces Antoine Rudiger.
Oh God, yeah,
absolutely. And then some too. Yeah, I think he's better in the locker room. Rudiger is great in the locker room, but also a little crazy and makes you feel a little uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah.
Koulibaly is a little bit more chill. And then honestly, it's hard to know exactly where Chelsea's going to be because they have so much left to do. They're rumored, they're rumored basically everybody at PSG, Red Bull Leipzig, Napoli, all these people they're rumored about.
Koulibaly, how could you get more chilled than playing at Napoli?
Yeah.
Their stadium is just a weed cloud. It's like worse than a Grateful Dead show.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's funny. I just think Chelsea has a lot more work to do. As far as where they're going to finish, I would imagine top 4. It's funny. I was a little stressed after watching their preseason, and then N'Golo Kante played. And I'm like, we'll finish fourth because we played Udinese, and he just took the ball in all these wonderful little spots, fed it up to because they played. It's kind of interesting. They put Sterling at a false nine, and they played Havertz and Mount up top, and it worked. They looked great in attacking, and it looked really great. But it's also Conte taking the ball off the people, running 5,000 yards everywhere, and letting us score. So as long as we have N'Golo and he's healthy, we'll finish fourth.
You know what I'm worried about Sterling? I think Sterling's going to fall into the Theo Walcott problem.
Okay.
He wants to play through the middle, but he shouldn't play through the fucking middle.
Right.
He's a winger. He's a fucking winger. Just be a winger. Get 15 goals. Be happy with it.
I think what's ultimately interesting about this team is that you look at him and you go, third, yeah, why not? Like, sure. But then you realize Conte's going to give the ball to Werner, and Werner can't hit the net.
Can't find a camera.
Yeah, I mean, he can hit Road Zed. Zed, oh, he's fucking 100%.
Well, yeah, because at that point he's frustrated. He was already called offside.
True. Yeah, he's at least 40 yards offsides by then.
There's all the talent in the world, and you know that between now and the end of the transfer window, they're going to get the pieces they need.
Yeah,
they're going to do enough to make you and I have a false sense of hope that they're actually going to do something really incredible, and then ultimately they're going to let us down because Inter. I don't even know how to work it in. I just want to say Inter because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to happen. Gabe, please plug away. What all?
Sure. I am a member of the Charm City Blues. We there's usually at every Chelsea game, domestic or continental, there's some representative at Slancha down in Fells Point. Also Chelsea in America did great things on the tour. I was able to go down to Charlotte to watch Chelsea play, even though the game sucked. We still had a great time and got to meet some Chelsea legends. So it was wonderful. So yeah, definitely check both of those places. It's a really welcoming group. We're on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. So
I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but I've met them and they are actually a welcoming group.
Yeah, I know. Shocking. Good dude. All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. And as always, it was a lot of fun.
For always stepping up to the plate for Chelsea.
Hey, my pleasure.
Appreciate that, man.
No worries.
All right. So for representing Brighton Football Club, we welcome back Brad.
Hey, we had our best summer ever. We signed nobody. Nobody.
Just gotta say, our boy Paul unfortunately could not stick around. Normally he's at the start of the show and doesn't make it to the end. And this time we went to the other order and he couldn't stick around.
He had a prior commitment.
And Paul was actually the just in fairness to him, he was the first co-host in studio when you couldn't be at a show.
Yep.
So
he was.
And
Paul,
now
Paul's a very nice guy.
Also, Brad, now continue with your assault.
Yeah, well, we love digs here at the DU Football Show. The show is mainly about banter, as you all know. And so, in, kind of embracing of that, Crystal Palace supporter Brad.
Paul's a very nice guy. Paul's a very nice guy. He showed up, 15 minutes late, signed on, didn't turn on his camera, sat here for, I don't know, how long have we been on? 4 hours? Never turned his camera on, signed off, never said a word, gone. It was like Brighton in the Premier League. Like, are they really there? Does anybody notice them? They play in a plastic stadium with plastic fans. Like, who cares? They don't exist. Go back to the championship. All right,
well, that throws off your entire derby. Well,
it's not a derby. It's a rivalry.
We already know who the main signings were. None.
Nobody. Got it.
Major departures.
Nobody
yet to happen, but looks like Kukurea.
Yeah.
To replace Zinchenko at Manchester City.
But they're doing the smart thing.
And then he's Basuma
does Zaha and saying, give us 80 million and we'll let him go, and nobody's going to do that, right? They're saying 50 million for that cauliflower head dude. Nobody's going to pay.
Jesus Christ,
right? Nobody's paying 50 million for him.
Excellent. I like him a lot. So expectations for the season,
they'll go down.
Relegation. All right.
They're going down. No, I mean, they'll
I think they'll probably finish in about 12th.
12th.
Where
So this season, they finished above Palace for the first time in Paul's lifetime. So congratulations.
Well, you could say that because you're 80.
Right.
Don't make fun of him because he's 35. That's
Dude,
not fair.
Even in my lifetime, it was the first time they finished above Palace. So it's not true. They finished above us.
Palace since the war.
I remember in 07. No, they finished above us one other time, and then we beat them in the playoffs that season, and we got promoted, and they stayed down. They don't finish above us. It happened this year. It was a fluke, and they're going back down.
I gotcha. All right, fair enough.
Right, thanks, everybody.
I don't think they're going to get relegated. I think
they won't get relegated.
Are going to be a comfortable 12th to 14th. They haven't strengthened, obviously. They have a couple of glaring misses. I think Mwepo kind of not necessarily replaces Basuma, but covers the crack. Yeah. Hold it in until they can sign somebody.
All right, Graham, here's the question. When England, Lindsay, I'm sorry. Everything went fantastically today. It came home. We care more about the women's team anyway. If England flames out in the World Cup in November, and former Palace player Gareth Southgate is out as manager, does England come in and say, we need Graham Potter? And then what in the world does Brighton do?
Actually, not a terrible shout.
Right? And then maybe they aren't in such great shape.
And actually,
maybe not this year, maybe next year.
Brad made a good point.
My thought was, you guys think they're comfortably safe. I think they do have good coaching, but I think they're in trouble. I don't.
Well, they have Neil Makeless. It's all going to go well.
I don't feel like they've made the appropriate fixes. Normally, they do. This time they didn't. It feels very Southampton to me. Like you probably lost one too many pieces this time, especially if you lose Cucurella.
Yeah.
If you lose Cucurella after one season of having him in, great. It's a lot of money, but they haven't spent that money yet.
But they've got 3 weeks to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. This is why we don't do our predictions until the transfer window's closed.
Precisely.
It's because you can't really make an assessment of a club properly until the transfer window's closed. So they've got a few weeks. That's obviously going to deny a preseason to that player. Can they fit in right away? Can they do blah, 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 blah? You can extrapolate that all you want.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. I think Brighton have enough about them that they'll finish in about 14th, 15th, 12th kind of range, in that sort of nobody cares range.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
So that's Brighton. So then so if they lose Potter mid-season,
they're fucked.
They're fucked.
They're fucked.
And you just got me to cuss on your show. So
I mean, you've cussed on our show.
There you go.
Already,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but just pretend I'm JJ Watt.
Very good.
It was the day he found out my mom picked his team. He went, fuck.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's
Fucking
right.
Jan.
So from Brighton,
yeah,
we're gonna go down.
Well, hold on. I want to real quick. I'm actually up next, but
I know I was gonna throw it to you. It's called a transition.
Well,
it's part of radio. We're professionals.
Well, you're also supposed to let the plug happen, and I was going to plug. Brighton.
Well, I wasn't here to plug them, so I just didn't give a shit.
Stateside Seagulls.
There you go. He even fucking knows.
Brilliant.
You know what? Brilliant. Please, Graham, go ahead. Transition.
So from Brighton, we're going to travel up the M6 again to London, except for we're going to take a flight halfway around the world to Down Underland. Oh, Kangaroo Zoo. It's Miss Jane.
I tell you
from
what,
Brentford. And Sam, you would like to ask her these questions.
So here's the beauty is that Jane joined the call, and you could see it was fairly dark. And now it's like
now
nice
it's light,
and bright and sunny as Jane joins us from Upside Down World in Australia.
At her time, I think she joined at 4:15 this morning.
Yes, which by the way,
Well, sorry, 4:15 tomorrow morning.
Yeah, exactly.
She lives in the future.
She's ahead of us. Jane, thank you so much for joining us, and seriously for getting up at the time of the morning that you did and hanging out to listen to our dumbasses drink in the middle of the afternoon and just kind of constantly ramble. How are you doing, ma'am?
Oh, mate, the bees fairy tale continues. We stayed up. Happy days.
Excellent. So, for the bees, let's face it, the big missing piece was the move to get Erickson. And let's face it, he very much was instrumental in your staying up and helping the club move forward. What are the signings that you have done so far? And besides him, what are the key departures?
Well, I think he was the one and only key departure. It would have been fairy tale stuff had he stayed. It was fairy tale stuff that we got him. And it coincided too with David Raya being completely sidelined for at least half the season. And the young Spanish fellow that we had filling in wasn't really up to scratch at all. Sorry, but that's true. And David Raya was worth a goal to us, at least every game. And if you have a look at the draws and 1-0 losses that we sustained, Christian Eriksen was an absolute bonus, but David Raya was a goal. So getting him back was a big deal. And I think the missing departure was both ends of the pitch, because there was massive rumours about David Raya going and Ivan Toney going, and we've managed to hang on to both, and that's critical. And I think we've signed a combination of experience and youth, because we've picked up the Burnley captain, Ben Mee, in the back line, which I think is really important for two reasons. Not only is he solid as a rock in defence, but he's also been one of those boomerang teams, Burnley, that's gone up and down, and I think he knows the sting of going back down to the Championship, and I think that's going to be just as important to Brentford this year as having a solid back, is having somebody that knows how horrible it is to drop down and is going to be a really critical factor in staying up that past the honeymoon season.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because let's face it, there are always successful clubs that come up, right? And there's a few, like people like Villa who stick around, people like Wolves who got all the way into Europe. But then you look at the Sheffield United, their next season, they went down. You look at Leeds, they almost went down. Huddersfield figured out a way to stay up, went down the next season. And I gotta figure, as let's face it, it's a small club. It's a small club, and you're punching above your weight. You're happy to be here. You're doing well. And it seems like what Franks is doing is why good players are staying, because they believe in the process and what that club is. But at the same time, you can't help but think it's like, fuck, it's our second season. We see teams go down. You look past it, and the next thing you know, we're suddenly in 19th in December going, how the hell are we staying up?
Yeah. Well, you blokes, if anybody would know, getting up's one thing, staying up's another,
absolutely.
I think the other thing that we've done, I think one of the most important things is there's two re-signings and a signing off the pitch that's critical. We re-signed Vitaly Janelt and Christian Norgard in the midfield, and I think both of those players were quite a surprise to anyone who hasn't been watching Championship. Norgard in particular, he's a gem, and his tackling, very rarely does he get it wrong, and he's just like an invisible dotted line across the midfield that they've got to get past. And so it was a treat watching him play, but you can see the lack of depth, because as soon as he was crook, and we haven't had a healthy Ethan Pinnock in the back line, who's been a pillar of strength, and you can see that our depth is pretty much not there. We've got a very shaky second line and no third line at all. So it's good that we got Ben Mee. We also signed two really interesting young fellas, a Scottish guy called Aaron Hickey from Bologna. I didn't know who he was. I had a look at him, and he's fast. He can play either side at the back, and He likes going forward. And we picked up a young fella called Keen Lewis Potter from Hull City, and he's had an absolute tear in the English under-21 side that just did well in Europe. And he's got
a
this
bit of a starlet. He's a big-time starlet as far as like within England. That's a player that people have talked a lot about from Hull City.
Absolutely. And the what was the Scottish side's name? I actually don't remember.
Aaron Hickey.
Hickey. I remember there being a lot of suntan and sunburn jokes being made when he signed for Bologna. I couldn't remember his name, to be honest, but
if you watch the tape of Lewis Potter, he seems to have this uncanny ability coming into the goal from either side, and he plays off both feet to be able to thread the needle. And this year and last season, Brian Buemos is a great player, but his conversion rate was not high. And I think he had the most number of off the timber misses, which is, there's a bee's dick in it. But, you need that conversion rate to be higher. And this young lad seems to have this uncanny thread the needle, ability to be able to get into traffic and still score. And I think that's going to be a real massive help, having him up front with Brian and Ivan Toney. And the off-pitch signing is a fellow called Ben Ryan, who was the fitness coach for the Fiji Sevens. And Sevens is rugby sevens. It's a very quick game. It goes to the Olympics. And he took the Fiji Sevens to, and we watch it a lot down here because we constantly get beaten by New Zealand. He took them to a gold medal at the Olympics. And I think that says a lot for Brentford focusing on their fitness, because a lot of their wins came in the last minute of the game. Thank you very much, Johan Wisser, who's probably a surprise parcel to most people as well, and we were able to retain him. So if we can stay fit, I think we've got every chance of staying up, and that's my big hope. Yeah.
That was exactly what I was going to get to, is what is the plan for the team? What is your expectation? Where do you see Brentford ending?
Well, if the thing about Brentford, following Brentford, and I've done it since we were in League Two, the thing about Brentford that's so frustrating is they can knock off a top team one week and lose to the bottom team the next week. Mm-hmm. And we did that in the year before we came up. All we had to do, we were sitting second in the championship. All we had to do was beat the two bottom teams, and we would have gone up to Premier League a year earlier, and we bombed out both times. And so, if we can get over that, just that erratic character, but then again, that's why you follow them, because they can knock off the top team this week and they lose to the bottom team next week. And that's why you can't miss a game, because you never know what might happen, So my hope is anywhere above 17. Realistically, I'd like to say 12 or 13.
Excellent. So, Jane, besides the obvious, you coming to the States, hopefully soon, so you and I can share that bottle of Four Roses small batch that I owe you, because you beat us in the 3-2 match. That was the match that I thought was going to keep us up, but didn't keep us up.
I'm bringing a bottle of every wine I represent to that meeting, so Jane can teach me about all of it.
Excellent.
And I already know about it because I sell it. But I want Jane to tell me.
Exactly.
I'm hoping February, guys, because that would be a really great time to be in your part of the world. I'm hoping February, and at this stage of the game, all I've got to do is line up a babysitter for the 135 garlic plants, 7 sheep, 5 kookaburras, and everything else that's on this 8 acres, and I should be set like jelly.
Fantastic. Well, the seat is waiting for you, and we are excited as hell to have you. And I am personally excited to share a bottle of bourbon with you.
Jane never disappoints, obviously, when she comes on, but there are 2 things that I always hope for. Either wine knowledge or the phrase "by a bee's dick." And since we weren't drinking wine this time, I did get the bee's dick, and I love it.
And she also gave us kookaburras. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I can't complain at all. It's good. All I want is my democratic sausage or whatever they did to get Australians to vote that time. That was
fabulous. Thank you.
Democracy sausages, lads.
That's it, democracy sausage. That's right. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jane. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And thanks, producer Mill. Thank you.
All right. So, all right. No transition. I'll just do it. Mr. Zack had to go.
Yeah. And Zack was with us. He already did a show with us, did a great job. He's clearly our laugh track from now on.
I believe he said, I have plans.
Yeah.
I already had it planned.
Yeah.
Where I was like, just give us a wee giggle, would you? Just everybody fucking shut up. I just want an isolated giggle.
Credit to him. The minute Alan started talking about Colin Wilson, he immediately had a Cherries jersey that he was holding up in the Zoom meeting. I was like, that didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
That did not go unnoticed.
I love Zack.
Yeah, Zack's great. He had to go. He had a prior commitment as well.
Their
Obviously,
problem, still no signings.
Correct. They seem the least equipped to stay up, and that worries me.
Very Norwichy to me.
Yeah,
very Norwichy.
However, they have Scotty Parker, who's chiseled from stone, not Daniel Farka.
He's very easy to look
not
at.
going over the topics.
I mean,
they have.
Come on, let's face it. If Scotty Parker said something to either one of us, we would.
Oh,
we would. We would.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah, sure thing.
Take his smooth ass right down. All right.
Hashtag make managers hot again. Scotty Parker, what's now Arteta and Gerrard.
What I would say is Scotty Parker, I'm sure, being as astute as a player as he was, I think that he will learn from the mistakes of the Fulham campaign.
Yeah.
And I think he is their greatest asset at the moment of staying up.
Yeah.
Hopefully for Bournemouth, if we're going to be optimistic about them, hopefully they'll secure a loan or a kind of maybe a fringe striker that shows promise. Somebody like a Divock Origi, right, that obviously moved over to where he moved to. If they can find somebody like that
away from Everton, that's where he moved.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm hoping that for them, if they can find somebody of that ilk, that they will have a better chance of staying up, because what they have now currently, you're basically just relying on Scotty Parker's previous experience to not make the same mistakes.
Right.
Which is the precarious place to be in, obviously. Yeah. And, not great. Do you know their plugs, what they have on socials?
He on our show, he talked about their Reddit channel that they work with. The one thing I was going to mention for Bournemouth in general is it's okay to go down and follow the Burnley plan. Now, I know obviously Burnley has recently gone down, but what we knew Burnley was at first when we, 2010 time, Burnley was a team that went up, they went down, they went up, they went down. Mm-hmm. But they took that money, they kept investing it right back into the club. And then they eventually found themselves in the Premier League for a 5-year period. And in that 5-year period, played European fucking football. So Bournemouth is a very small town with the smallest stadium. They are a tiny, tiny club. And as long as they continue to manage their finances properly and do exactly what they're doing.
Well, don't do what Burnley did when the new owners took over. They piled heaps of debt onto the club.
Just going down isn't a bad thing.
Isn't the worst thing in the world.
Not the worst thing. Use that. It's the right chip. Get yourself back up. Keep using that money in the right way. And you could find yourself honestly, like a team like Leicester, who now was perennially a championship side, and they are now comfortably a Premier League side. That is the difference of a lot of fucking dollars.
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%. Millions of dollars
100%
in that. So, all right. Now it's time to talk about the most important thing ever is
the Lionesses.
Her Highness.
Come on.
And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that, us men decided to trample all over it, as we have a proper Brummy lass here to talk to us. And she's going to chat. She's going to chat Villa, but first and foremost, Her Highness, Lindsay.
What? I'm sorry. This intro, real quick. This intro is
finger
akin.
is hovering above your mute button. So
Just
choose
wait.
your words quiet.
This intro is akin to Gabby Abong-Lahore signing his new Talk Sport contract. Did you see this on Twitter? To all the haters, you brought me here. Thanks. I love it. Welcome, Lindsay,
darling. It is brilliant to see you again. And again, welcome to the Grown Folks Club.
I'm doing my best Grealish for you.
Who?
Who's that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have no idea who you're talking about.
I'm not toned enough for Maddie Cash.
By the way, she changed her fantasy name. It's not, Villa Girl. It's Jack Hoop.
Nice.
Love it.
Well, since I've had to wait all evening.
With an attendance record, too.
Damn straight.
Man, Weekman did what Southgate could not. Make substitutions that will change the game. Come on. I mean, it was great. It was great. When Germany came back, I got last summer feels and, kind of wanted to fall into that depression, like, oh my gosh, it's Italy all over again. But, they pulled it out. So it was really, really impressive. So
fuck a waistcoat. I'm wearing a skirt to work tomorrow, right? I'm wearing an England skirt to work tomorrow because fuck a waistcoat.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, especially because it's Germany too, and
at Wembley.
There's lots of feels. There's lots of feels for the English with Germany.
Oh yes,
like as Frank said at the Men in Blazers show in DC when Everton was in town, everybody was yelling and screaming about the Germany penalty miss. And he's like, it's amazing. The goal I'm best remembered for is one that didn't score.
Yeah. And this was one of the ugliest goals
that
I've ever seen. The kind of swing and half hit, goalkeeper saved it, but she reacted better, and a literal toe poke.
Seriously,
fucking one of the second, actually, probably because it's a European Championship and not a World Cup. The second most important goal that England have ever scored was a toe poke from 4 yards.
Mark, our Forest supporter, just said at least it went over the line.
No, God, that's all that matters. Yeah, absolutely. Fucking anyway you can get over the line.
And I even hate to admit it. And I know Brad's a big supporter as well of our ladies. We need to watch the fuck out. Europe's coming. Next World Cup, U.S. women are very used to winning very easily.
You got the Dutch.
Not the case anymore.
You've got the Dutch. You've got also England's coach. Back-to-back Euro victory. She was the former coach of the Dutch national team as well. Back-to-back Euros with two different clubs. I think it's the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah,
ever in either side of the game.
Germany, France, Spain. There's been a very, very fronted, considerate effort to improving the women's game in Europe. All of the clubs have taken a very appointed approach to making sure that their female sides are as important as their male sides. And they are not fucking around. And as much as we love our U.S. women, watch the fuck out.
All the Brady Chastain feels too when the goal went in.
Oh God!
Sports bra waving around her head. Get in. It gave me all the 1999 feels as a U.S. supporter, obviously. But I was definitely rooting for England in this game, and it's beautiful. It finally fucking came home.
All right, so Lindsay, let's talk about the real thing.
Yes.
Let's talk about the club that fucks. Villa.
Absolutely. Yes. Bring it on.
So let's talk about the moves that you've made. Who have you brought in and who is gone?
Well, speaking about who's gone, Alan has already disappeared from the show, but the only reason he got target was because of Benitez, who gave up Digne, and therefore Target didn't want to fight for his spot, so that's how Newcastle got him. But honestly, at the end of the day, I don't mind, because, you know, if you're not willing to fight for your spot and you want to go elsewhere, that's fine by me. And I love Digne. I mean, I was really surprised we got him, but of course, I know you have the documents on that one, Sam. So
I do.
That's how we got him. But yeah, so not really many other outgoings of, like, you know, notable outgoings, but definitely incomings. I mean, you all know Coutinho, we officially did that, and that was just really amazing. I think you know, just having his presence on the pitch, his experience. I think he's someone that Gerrard trusts as well, you know, and I think just even having someone of that profile has just kind of lifted the team a little. And I think it also attracts a few other players as well, which hopefully was the case for Kamara and Diego Costa, who were both about to play, you know, Champions League football, but they decided to come and join Aston Villa. And definitely two, you know, I love that Gerrard is looking what we needed. We needed, you know, another centre back, and we needed desperately a defensive midfielder. I think, you know, the defensive mid, Luis, I that's not really his spot. So I think, you know, that's why you get a bit of contention there and mistakes and stuff like that. So excited about those two. I mean, it's a bit sad because it looks like Mings, you know, there might be, you know, a lack of stability there. As you all know, he lost the captaincy to Mel's bit on the side, Mel's bit of haggis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McGinn.
She loves her Guinea.
Yeah, I do love Guinea. Lindsay and I were talking about that, and I think it's a good move, but I do worry about Ming's future and his future with Villa.
I'm sorry, as a man,
Yes.
I feel best suited to talk about this.
Continue, Lindsay.
Anyway,
The bum wins every time.
Yeah, the bum does win every time.
The bum wins every time.
Hey, it's
Graham,
I'm a bum man. That's what I'm saying. I'm a bum man.
Yes.
It's the ass.
Yeah.
He twerked in training, and Gerrard went, you know what, man? You're the fucking captain.
He's the heart and soul. He's funny. Everybody loves him. He doesn't have to be the best player. He just has to be the best motivator.
Yeah.
Graham's only talking because he now finally has Jesus and Mohammed on his team. You know?
Hey, I have found peace. I have found peace in whatever religion I choose. I have found peace.
Yeah. That's the miracle you need to make top 4 this season. So.
Yeah, you hear? They're telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what was that?
That was all of Lindsay's dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, they went crazy.
So actually, Lindsay, you covered one thing that I wanted to talk about, and then there's a second thing. It's a little bit about competition for places and what that's going to add to, unfortunately, the good or bad chemistry of the team. And the first one would be with Mings. You're kind of in this place. It's like you took away the captain's badge. Is he the guy? Are you going to move on from him? Yes, you added depth, but depth means competition. He didn't have particularly the best season last year, but let's face it, he's been a stud since he's been there. Mm-hmm. Then you go to the other side and it's like, okay, we brought in Coutinho, we brought in the veteran. What does that mean for the record, bringing in Buendia last season? And that is that those guys play exactly the same position. It's not like you can rework them anywhere else on the pitch. So you kind of have a little bit of drama built into that club in 2 very key positions.
Dare I say drama? So what are your thoughts on that as far as a struggle within the club? Because honestly, that's shit that could completely destroy a club.
Oh, that's some Love Island business going on right there. You know?
By the way, how is Gemma Owen doing? Speaking of that,
she's made it to the final. I think she might win. So
fuck yes, get in.
She's actually a lovely young girl.
What do they say there? I love the old fit birds.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, terrible. Fuck's sake.
But back to the footy banter. So no, you're absolutely right, Sam. And I believe that is one of the things that Gerrard said from the beginning, that he wants to create competition. And, like I mentioned with Target, he was not willing to, stick around and fight for his spot. And that's okay. But you're right, he's definitely done that. I mean, for centre back now, you've got Costa, Mings, Konza, and Chambers. So, 4 decent guys there. And I really believe that, Costa is his main man, and he's going to look and see who's going to be the best pairing for him. Now, Mings, I think, like you said, he's a stud. And Villa fans are very torn on him. You've got those who just, I don't like him, his ability. Sorry.
Clearly your dogs do not agree with that statement.
People like me, I love him. I think seriously, sorry guys. I think he had a great attitude. He was a great captain, but yes, he did make mistakes. So I think if he makes mistakes, Gerrard wants to be able to pull him next game. And you can't do that with the captain. So I think that's why he's taken the armband from him. And I think he's just really going to see who is better suited with Costa. And then, like you said, with Buendia and Coutinho, again, competition there. And I know Coutinho's got his fitness back, but I really don't think he's there to play the whole game. And even there's competition now that Ings just got the number 9 shirt. There's Watkins. There's actually Archer, who I think we're going to keep and not send out on loan. He's another young prospect who really could change the game. So no, I agree with you. It's great, the competition, but yes, there is potential for issues. But I feel like Steven Gerrard doesn't take any crap, so I think he's going to nip that in the bud pretty fast, and I think it's going to be a good thing moving forward.
All right. So, and last question, because we know Steven Gerrard doesn't win titles because he never did as a player. So what do we?
Well, he tends to slip a little short.
Yeah, he just slips a little. But final question.
It's so easy to write themselves.
I mean, really. What is the expectation for Aston Villa this season?
I think definitely, top 10,
definitely.
7th, 8th would be nice. But I think, with the squad we have, moving forward, the talent, towards the end of the season, you saw it, it was going well. Then he had that big blip where for a second we were like, oh my goodness, are we going to be back in a relegation battle? But then, he was able to steer the ship again. But I think towards the end of the season, you kind of saw things slowly coming together, and, his DNA becoming part of the team. So I would definitely say top 10, and 7th or 8th would be, lovely. So
you can't say that Villa fucks and then reference him putting his DNA into the club in the same thing. That smacks of an SVU episode. And
as long as they're,
I can take my hands off it right now.
Let me specify managerial DNA and not player slipping up.
Excellent.
I think I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with a full season under his belt.
Agreed. It's a
under
club
his belt.
It's a club I'm interested to see what they do, because it is
going to be interesting.
It could go really well or it could go really wrong, and you're kind of on a nice edge figuring out what it's going to be.
But I also don't think it's going to go really wrong in the sense that they're worried about relegation.
Oh, really wrong's 14th place.
Yeah, exactly. Really wrong is still comfortably Premier League, but
we spent money. Why the fuck aren't we doing better?
Yeah.
What really wrong?
I'm with you there.
Lindsay, plug away. Everything that people need to know about Villa, locally, nationally. How do they find like-minded Villa supporters?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We have our wonderful producer, Mel, who is just securing a new bar in Annapolis for us. So, that's going to be great. We're going to hopefully be at a new location. And
you really do have a lot going on.
And then we have our Maryland supporters group on Facebook. And then we also have the Aston Villa North Americas group on Facebook, who just does so much. They just had a meeting in Toronto, raised about 10,000 for the Acorns charity in Birmingham back home. So just, just doing great things, really, really doing great things. So
they really are. It's such a nice group. And then there is a bar in DC for Villa fans. What's that one called?
and that is the Queen Vic.
The Queen Vic. Great food there.
The Liverpool Supporters Club. So when Liverpool aren't playing, Villa are allowed.
I've definitely driven by that bar on
Definitely
H Street.
eaten at that bar.
Fucking have blared Zed cars just sitting right in front of it. Just pull up, decide to park, maybe rig in some orders, and just blare Zed cars right in front of it. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us, and we are finally to the final club that is normally the first club. And as I toss it over to you, I just want to say we are about to talk to one of next to Alan, because Alan, my brother in drip, is the smoothest motherfucker on the planet. Number 2 is this guy right here. Go ahead, Mr. Graham.
We're top of the league. We're top of the league. It's Arsenal Football Club. We're top of the league. I don't care if it's alphabet or not. We are top of the league. And I have brought on and secured the wonderful docile tones of our fearless leader at Charm City Gooners, Simon Torres, to talk about what an amazing summer Arsenal's had, to be honest. And your being respectful to Wolves and all that shite has backfired. We can talk as long as we want. And I'm also still fucking interested.
Heard.
Because now we're talking about my boys.
Oh, heard.
So settle in, motherfuckers. It's Simon Torres.
We'll see if I can break JJ Watt's record. I don't know how long he went. I was texting Gabe like, are they going to cut this guy off? Jesus Christ.
I do have to apologize. That was me having a pro Arsenal agenda moment.
That's fine. It's fine. It's good to see everyone. Last and probably least, I'm happy to talk about Arsenal Football Club. Want to say real quickly, shout out to everyone, Arsenal, Everton, but anybody and everybody that made that match in Baltimore such a wonderful time. We had fans from all over the place. Other clubs came to our block party. We heard that the Everton party at the firehouse or fire station, whatever it's called, was also tremendous. Just tremendous outpouring of soccer love and knowledge. And the guys from Arsenal, we had a debrief with them on Friday. Their head supporters liaison is a guy called Mark Brindle. And the people from England were absolutely floored. They had no idea that there was such a groundswell of support and knowledge and love. We took some pictures of the block party we had in front of the Abbey in Federal Hill, and they made it all the way up to the Arsenal brass, and they were absolutely stunned. So kudos to everyone, and it's the best game in the world, and I'm glad to see it's taken such a foothold, especially in this part of the country, Baltimore, DC.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Yes,
with such a heartwarming situation there, I do quickly have to take a small dig with that photo and all of that. Is Stan thinking about redeveloping anything around that area? Because I hope not. Good, thank God. Leave us alone. We're doing fine.
Quick quip, and then please continue with Arsenal. Simon, on our side, on the blue side, everything. It was a great experience, and I think ultimately what I think all of us were looking for was let's bring the Premier League to our city. And I know we marched with flares and smoke and the whole nine. And I know you guys marched right proper from your supporter bar to the stadium. And I think that was just, as a whole, it was a beautiful fucking experience.
It was absolutely lovely.
If you are going to tell people, hey, you should get into footy, Baltimore brought it fucking proper. Arsenal and Everton brought it fucking proper. And it was just a fantastic day.
It was a great advert for Premier League fandom in general. And all 14 of you with your 3 flares did really well, and I'm super proud of you.
Hey, I will say, and last thing I promise,
MNT Bank is red.
I did go on a podcast where all the Everton supporters were like, hey, we're going to be great. We're going to fucking drown everybody. I was like, whoa.
In fairness, you did.
To realize right now, Charm City Gooners are a right fucking proper supporter group, and they are right. We are going to be the minority. as loud as we may be, as great as it's gonna be, and like there was some fun shit that went on. That stadium was going to be 2/3 Arsenal, and we needed to be ready for that.
And it was.
I was very loud about that right off the jump.
Well, the good thing about the Biden administration taking over is at least we didn't try to deport you.
Heard.
Simon.
Jesus. We're at that point. All right, let's go.
It's a loose tie and a weird dig, but I did it. I think I pulled it off okay.
Let's go.
Fuck's sake. It's late. It is late in the day.
You're red. We're blue. You just keep talking, asshole. You just keep talking.
No. Don't saddle us with that. We don't want that. I'll change jerseys, man. I'll put a blue one on. I have.
Yeah.
So make Arsenal great again.
Well, one can argue, thank you, Mel, for the transition. One could argue Mikel Arteta has. And Simon, why don't you run through some of our fantastic summer, because Arsenal is fucking great again.
The segues are sharp and the banter is great. It's a wonderful setup. So last time I was on doing this last summer, I went first. I'm happy to go last, but maybe worth the shuffle next year. I think I said I thought we would get in the Champions League. It was kind of a hope and a prayer, but I think I said that fourth was attainable. And it turns out that it was. This team was ahead of schedule last year. I think there's sort of three phases after Wenger left. After Emery, his trial didn't go so great. And kind of phase one was the clean out. And then just the dead wood, the dead weight that Arteta and Edu had to get rid of. And I think that was the first year. Last year was kind of about stabilization and building. And I think this year is about sharpening. They added really, really good pieces last summer. You think about Ramsdale, you think about Ben White, you think about making Odegaard a permanent buy from Real Madrid, you think about Tomiyasu. I'm probably missing someone, but that sort of stabilized the defense and made that defense competent. And I think the proof is in the pudding. They gave up far less goals than they did the year before. They didn't give up
the signing of Ben White and the retention of Gabriel this summer.
Right. Yeah. They gave up less pieces last summer. This summer, I think expectations are finally starting to get to where I think they're appropriate. It sucked losing out in Champions League last year, especially to Tottenham. It sticks in my craw. But the way Arsenal kind of faltered down the stretch, we went to Selhurst Park, we got the shit kicked out of us. We lost to Bournemouth. I think we lost to Brighton and we lost to somebody else. I can't remember. Maybe it was Bournemouth. God, really? And then we come back. And we beat Chelsea at the Bridge. We beat Manchester United. We go to London Stadium and we beat West Ham. That shows you sort of a young team that was finding its way, that in the end didn't have enough depth. This summer is all about depth. So everybody's talking about what are you bringing in? Well, they signed Matt Turner to replace Bernd Leno. I don't know if it's an apples for apples. I think Matt has a little more to his game, a little less in some parts, but his story is incredible from the Revs. Marquinhos is one from the future from Sao Paulo. Fabio Vieira, another young playmaker from Porto, really good player. He's been hurt all of the preseason, so we haven't really gotten to see him. But the two big signings are the obvious ones, the guys from City, Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko. Alex Zinchenko. And I think those signings are going to really transform this team. Zinchenko can play cover for Tierney and also cover for Zack in the midfield. He can play multiple positions. He can attack. He can defend. And Gabriel Jesus, I mean, the proof is in the pudding so far. Yeah, it's preseason. I get it. With 6 goals in 3 matches, I think that guy is going to be banging him in this year. I think yesterday Ben White played a ball to him across field. He took it on his chest 3/4 of the way toward the goal on the touchline, passed it, and then ran to the goal and cleaned it up. Arsenal haven't had a player like that in so long. It wasn't Aubameyang and it wasn't Lacazette. I mean,
hey, Simon and Sam, non-pro Arsenal agenda over here. Jesus scores 20 goals in the fucking Prem this season. Like
I will go out.
That's the kind of player it's the right system. It's the right guy. He's going to excel at Arsenal.
I will enter a bet with everybody on this. And if I win, you buy me around. And if you win, I will buy all of you around. I think Gabriel Jesus is going to have more goals and assists to combined than Erling Haaland. I really, really believe that. I think Haaland is coming from a German league that is not as tough. He's a Nordic midfield. We get it. I think he's going to struggle a little bit in the way Pep wants him to play. And I think Gabriel Jesus knows exactly how Arteta wants to play, and he's tailor-made.
Don't disagree with that, but I'll take that bet. I don't disagree. Right. I think you're going to win. I'd like to buy you a round, but I think you're going to win that bet.
All right. Departures. There haven't been too many. I think that those are coming. I think they're coming in the next 2 weeks. Bern Leno, I texted the group. The deal to Fulham is done. It just needs to be announced. I think this is fantastic. I got Fulham, by the way. Nuno Tavares on loan to Marseille.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't learn how to play defense.
Yeah. Considering he's a fucking defender. Yeah. I think he acknowledged that side of the game exists.
I mean, the only other best right back to ever play striker is Mikel Antonio.
I think he's a left winger, guys. I think he's left winger. I didn't mention maybe behind Jesus and Zinchenko, the most important offseason addition that Arsenal made is bringing Saliba back from Marseille. William Saliba, I think, is going to displace Ben White. I think Ben White will actually get pushed out to right back. It may be at the expense of Tomiyasu, but I think Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White back four is going to be really good and really deadly. And then you have a raft of guys that I think, as Graham will tell you, our squad players aren't up to the level that we need, and we'll see what we can get for them or anything. I'm thinking about Nico Pepe. You know, we could go into it for years about Nico. They paid too much for him. I don't think the English game is his bag. Pablo Mari, Runderson, Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, and Hector Bellerin, who I don't know if I told you, Graham, this. When we were at the Arsenal Hotel, some of the board got to meet Emile Smith-Rowe and William Saliba. Saliba is fucking huge. He is 6'4" in bare feet. He's a massive man. Lovely guy. They asked Bellerin, he was sitting by the pool. Of course he was, sitting by the pool in like these little skimpy pants. If he would come over to say hi to us, I saw him go, nah, he doesn't want anything to do with Arsenal. He is done.
I feel like the club have done him dirty, to be honest. He's now the longest serving player at the club. And honestly, one of my favorites. I think the club have done Bellerin dirty over the last 2 seasons. Personally, since that Crystal Palace performance under Unai Emery, when they yelled at him that you can't wear the shirt, you're unfit to wear the shirt, I think he fucking checked out. And I think the club have done him dirty.
Didn't Granit have his fucking bonehead moment against Crystal Palace as well?
Yeah, but Granit's Armenian. He can
that makes me that makes me real nervous about Friday.
His head moment is every 30 seconds.
The man's a walking red card.
I walked across the street. That guy looked at me funny. Kick him in the fucking knee.
Also fair.
I love him.
You didn't pick up your dog's poop, you cunt. Yeah. Also fair. That's fine.
I need him in my neighborhood. Mine
too, to be honest. Jesus Christ.
President of your HOA.
Fuck me.
Granite Shaka.
O'Donnell Square or
not president, enforcer of your HOA. You're the president, and you just send him.
He is the master at arms. He should be the master at arms of my HOA.
I do not appreciate the way that guy down the street does his trash. Granite, go have a talk with him. Gotcha, coach.
Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah.
That shit'll be fixed.
He's a one-man plan to solve Baltimore's crime problem. I'll tell you that.
You fucking walk him around like RoboCop. It's perfect. I don't see why there's anything. Granite, retire. Come to help.
Omar would have lived if Shaka was his side man. We'd been okay. We'd have been okay.
Yeah. All right. So all the movement we've made this summer, which has all been positive, in my opinion. I think that's been evidenced in our preseason. All of our relevant kind of fringe players played against Brentford, lost 2-1, is the only blemish this preseason, right? I said on our Facebook page, which you'll plug shortly, the Charm City Gooners closed Facebook group, if anybody wants to find it, just apply to join. Simon will approve you because it's awesome, unless you're a spud.
Except for he's going to plug it after you just plugged it.
I know. I want to make sure this is the Pro Arsenal agenda portion of the show. Thank you.
I'll call JJ Watt back, man. I'll bring him back in.
This time up, man.
Breathes through his mouth. He's Harry Kane. Right. Anyway, my point is, you made me forget my point.
Summer movements, things are going great.
You made me forget.
You're supposed to give it to Simon.
I am going to give it to Simon.
He'll be bottom of the league Friday.
No, I know what it is. I found it. I said this in the group yesterday. Does anybody else feel like this is a setup? Do we feel like this preseason is the precursor to getting super fucking excited and ready to fucking rock? And then we're going to finish in 6th again. Like, I can't shake this overwhelming dread, that's kind of just lingering as a black cloud over my head because I'm a sports fan in general, but I'm also a DC sports fan.
Welcome to the world of Everton.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
just assume the worst.
Yeah, but we've seen the golden limelight. You haven't. I mean, since color TV's been invented, you haven't.
In the 80s, we did.
Yeah, exactly. Since color TV became a thing, no one even knew you wore blue. Yeah. The point is that I don't know how to shake this feeling of Gabby scored 7 goals in 5 games. He'll probably finish with 4. And I'm just like, fuck. I can't get out of my own brain about this. How do I do that? Where do we finish, Simon? I need you to reassure me. You're my fearless leader. You're my Donald Trump.
Oh God, no, I don't want to be that.
I follow you to the depths. I follow you to the depths.
Do I bury you in my backyard to get a tax break? I don't. You do need therapy.
No, tell me about it. Jesus.
Simon, you are a beautiful Spaniard man. You are not orange. You are perfectly fine. You are not Trump. You are perfectly okay.
The problem is the DU football show does not provide insurance, Simon. I'm fucked. I'm just left to deal with my own mental illness.
So here's what I would say. I think that if you think about things in the long term and how this is part of the plan and part of the project, it's easy to say, all right, last year sucked. I don't think we were supposed to get within touching distance of the Champions League last year. And I think we did. And I think that there were a lot of hard lessons learned. That's the thing I really like about this group of leadership, Arteta, Edu, the guys I have working for them in the front office, is they seem to learn from their mistakes, unlike years past in other clubs. I think this is the trajectory is up. And I think that's evident in how the squad has turned over. You have younger players. You have that core of like 21, 22 to 23 or 24, maybe Gabriel Jesus is 25. But he's one of the older players and he's established. Zinchenko is 25. Both these guys come in, they've won 4 Premier League titles. I think that element of class and of quality, but also of leadership, is going to change the way this team reacts to some bumps. And they're going to have some. I don't love having to open at Selhurst Park. And, Brad may be right. We may be bottom of the league on Friday, or we may hang 4 on them. I just don't know. So I think my thought for you and for everyone is to enjoy the process, enjoy the progress, kind of take it game by game. I think that the opening set of fixtures, Palace aside, is pretty favorable. We don't see anybody else of real consequence, I think, for a while. And see how this plays out, see how it gels. I don't think they're done. I think that Tielemans is a real thing. I think it's going to happen. I think they're going to take it down the wire. And I think I've heard Leicester wants 30. I think they get it done for around 25. See how that happens and how he gels.
That's
where
huge.
do I think
you make that happen?
No, absolutely would be.
Monster.
Provides that depth. If Partey's out and we get a real, number 8.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Monster.
And let me go on the record as I think Partey should be out and gone, and I want him out of my club. So let me say that.
With those allegations, is there actual substantiation? I haven't really kept up on it. Is there really substantiation there?
I don't really. What I know is that the UK police decided they couldn't prosecute him because it happened somewhere else and the law changed. That's what I know. I've heard some things that give me real pause about that guy in particular. But let's keep it happy and light. Where do we finish? I think somebody said before that the chasing pack to Liverpool and Manchester City is Chelsea, is Arsenal, is Tottenham. I can't see Manchester United. I think they're a couple of years away, maybe worse. So one of those teams is going to get pipped. I do think Arsenal will finish in the top four. I think the bullish side of me says third. So anywhere between third and fourth. I think if they finish fifth, it will be a disappointment. I think that
I'm with you.
Chelsea, Tottenham, I hate it. I fucking hate. Tottenham had a really good offseason. Conte is a nut. And I think that he pushes his players so hard. I don't know if he has players with the mental toughness that can keep up with him and get to his expectation. The toughest guys they may have are the guys they brought in. Kulusevski, we were in for him, Sam. I don't know if you knew that. And we missed him. And we thought that everybody thought
he played Conte at Inter earlier.
Right.
There is that connection that which is hard to overcome. Obviously, he's one of his. Look at Harry Redknapp and what was the Croatian guy? Why am I forgetting his name?
Oh, Modric.
Nico Kranjčar.
It's your world. I'm not saying
Harry Redknapp and Nico Kranjčar. Maybe he moved him to every club he ever managed.
Oh, okay.
Which is the only reason he played for 14 clubs.
The man liked to travel. I just think that Arsenal has enough quality to finish top four, and I think if they don't, it'll be a disappointment. So I'm going to say that they will. And I'm going to actually say, you guys didn't ask, but I'll give you my predicted order of finish. I think it'll be Liverpool. I think it'll be Manchester City. I think it'll be Arsenal. I think it'll be Tottenham. I think Chelsea's going to miss out. And I wish Gabe was here to see it.
I used to like you, Simon. I used to like you.
All right,
you know what, though? Sam, if they win the league, though, maybe the universe resets, right? Maybe the universe resets.
They've already won the league once. No.
Yeah, and COVID ended. We're all aware of this.
No.
It was perfect.
No.
See, I guess I'm glad there's not Liverpool. Oh, Russ is still here. I forgot they won in 2020. It's like
All right, Simon, please.
Hey, Simon, the key thing to know is that they've won exactly the same number of titles as Leicester and Blackburn. One.
Simon, please plug away anything Charm City Gooners, anything Arsenal America, anything you want to do there.
Well, especially the important stuff, too. Please plug that away.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, Charm City Gooners, Arsenal Supporters Club for Baltimore. In fact, all of Maryland, we meet at Federal Hill at Abbey Burger Bistro. You can find us on all the socials at Charm City Gooner, not Gooners, at Charm City Gooner on Twitter because character limitations. I'm at. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Limitations.
Well, maybe Piers Morgan needs a character limitation. Jesus fucking Christ. We couldn't get an S.
Or kick up the ass. I'm at SJ Torres 21. Arsenal America is the Arsenal supporters group for the US. All great content. There are a million Arsenal podcasts out there. Just go find one. They're all pretty good. Most important is our charity partner, the Craig Willinger Fund, Baltimore-based charity. We send kids and young adults recovering from cancer and other serious illness to the soccer match of their dreams. COVID has sidelined us, and we have a lot of money to spend. So we're hoping to be back in a big way this year. Hope to send kids.
Better.
I'm also hopeful, by the way.
Ton of money.
Hot news, hot take, hot off the press. I'm going to be doing something else with them this season in a DU capacity to raise money for them again.
Fantastic. Fucking love it.
I'm going to do something easier than losing weight, though.
Heard. Well,
how many pints can Sam have in 12 hours?
We'll find out. Boxing Day.
Every pint I can take down. I don't know.
I will say that we talk about like the charitable things that people do. We are very fortunate that here in Baltimore, that the Charm City Gooners, they come fucking proper, like really fucking proper. And my people, the Baltimore Toffees, have also, I'm both Baltimore and DC Toffee boy, but the Baltimore Toffees as well have also been very charitable. A lot of work towards the firefighters community. And when there was the unfortunate accident that
the 4 firefighters passed away. Yeah. In West Baltimore when the house collapsed.
2 weeks, the Baltimore Toffees had come up with charitable money to help those families directly. And there's something to be said that when we did the Baltimore game, that it was not just, simpatico, that it was your club and my club and all of that. It was the right fucking clubs, the right fucking communities,
absolutely,
right,
100%
fucking families kind of doing it. And
100% about
we
that.
made a great scarf that was a Charm City scarf
100%.
That had both clubs represented, and it was a very beautiful thing.
If you could actually, can you pull that down and show it quickly, because this was our match scarf that actually I think was the brainchild of me and you, to be honest.
Well, we put the right,
and if not, I'm gonna take fucking care. I'm gonna take credit for it.
And
we raised a boatload of money for charity.
Charm City Gooners has a great logo with the crab, and then the Baltimore Evertonians with the
Maryland flag incorporated into
it, and then
love it.
The back end, of course, the
Charm City game,
the match as well, and
one of the best match scarves I've ever seen in my life.
100% of the proceeds went to charitable causes, and it's two crews that just they do it fucking right.
They get it. I mean, we also raised at the block party, raised a boatload of money for Gunners versus Cancer, and that charity as well. It's been such a enjoyable experience to be able to help people, even in my failures. It felt good to help people.
Yeah.
Right. Even with everybody making fun of me during the entire experience last season, it was fun to raise money for people. Like that's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And to help people out. I love it. And our two clubs are pretty fucking good at it.
I'm very excited to see what we're going to do with the DU football show and the Charm City Gooners.
Absolutely.
Simon, please continue.
I was just going to say, when I was talking about how wonderful it was to have the match here and the love and support we got from Baltimore, the charity angle was a big part of it. And it reminded me, it's not just local Baltimore Arsenal fans and local Everton fans. I hate to say it, but the Baltimore Spurs raised $3,700 for the Willinger Fund last year. The Man United crew comes with it. The Bundesliga team
that I'll give them respect for.
Yeah. Nicole, DC United and Bayern Munich extravagant fan that you watch at Crossbar. She does stuff with the Willinger Fund as well. Soccer Without Borders is another big charity that people here support. So it's just really, we have a wonderful soccer community, and it's an honor to be a part of it. And thanks, guys, for having me on the show. Up the Gunners.
Yeah, of course. But they may have raised money for it, but you still on the motherfucking board. It's an Arsenal charity. Get in.
Very good. So, Mr. Graham, there's going to be no shore money this week.
There is no shore money. No,
we don't bet the first week of the season, and we're not talk about Championship Corner yet because we've already gone long enough.
I refuse to speak about Championship Corner. Because they opened the fucking season with Burnley and Huddersfield. Eat a dick.
I mean,
we're not talking about you this season.
I mean, it was the team that got demoted and a team that was in the championship final.
Yeah, but they suck. Both of them suck, and we know they suck.
It was. I believe we did when they were both in the Premier League at one point say Huddersfield Town and Burnley played a professional match.
I am tired of watching this dross.
Now, there's only a handful here left, and there will be many that listen later. And what they don't know is that we have done a ruse. We have had this entire time. Someone has been here watching them and enjoying the entire content. But if you are
hasn't said a word yet. Yeah.
But, right. If you're a Patreon subscriber.
So you got background music.
Oh, even better. If you're a Patreon subscriber,
turn it back up. That was kind of hot.
If you're a Patreon subscriber, you know the following.
Yeah, we chubby.
you know the following, that Patreon supporter of the show and good friend of ours, Nicole, does not have a club.
No, and I spent till 5:30 in the morning the other day trying to pitch her mine.
And and
Did
she
you
has
really?
been here.
I feel less bad about.
What do you think we were up talking about?
Oh my gosh!
When I tried to put you bed hit 3:30, and you had your
I had my power
your
chicken wing.
Power wing.
It's cheating. How dare you?
Hashtag thanks Red Hot Sauce. Appreciate you.
But Nicole is joining us right now, and Nicole, as we talked about on our Patreon show, you're unaffiliated. You're looking for someone. You're looking for the right match. We don't hear you.
Hold on, we can't hear you.
She's frantically skirting around and laughing, and it's not working at all. Nope, you're not working.
She said, hold on. I think she got excited and yanked the mic cord out. She was laughing so hard.
She might have
during the invigorating Arsenal segment.
I don't think the Arsenal segment was the invigorating part. Okay,
you're out of the running. Thanks, Nicole.
Fuck off.
I was going to say it has been a grueling 3 hours, and now finally Nicole gets to talk. Cole, you've listened to the pitches of many a team.
I have, yes, and they've all been entertaining. I will say that. I have thoroughly enjoyed listening to the show just in general. The two Sams always put me in a good mood. I understand just about half of it because, like you said in the first bit, I'm unaffiliated. So, I'm just like, oh, it's so sweet that they compete against each other and they're angry.
Can I make two last minute ploys real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Not Crystal Palace and not Tottenham. That's it.
Yeah. He talked to you for like 11 hours already, and now he knows he's lost. So his last thing is, don't go with the guy that was funny and entertaining.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
and also he's still here.
Yeah, somebody that's
here.
stuck here through the entire thing. Don't do that.
Can finish to the end. I mean,
right? Yeah, don't do that.
Hey, let me tell you something, baby. You goddamn right I can.
All right. So, Cole, here's what I want to throw to you, and we're going to do this throughout the season. We're going to check in on you because finding your club is a journey, right? And there's going to be teams that speak to you early, and you kind of have to watch a season, fall in love with players, fall in love with the fans.
I mean, it took me one game.
It's like Tinder, though.
Sometimes you fall in love at first sight.
Yeah, occasionally you marry your Tinder crush,
and sometimes you don't have a mute button.
But this time you do.
Time I'm doing it. It's the last time I'm doing it, because what I want to get to is you've been here now with the group, listening to everybody. Why don't you tell us a handful of people that really impressed you, and a handful of people that kind of turned you off? Because this is going to be a journey throughout the season. We're going to check in with you regularly and kind of talk with you about things. So give us your first impression.
I will let you get. I've been serious about it. I was taking notes the entire time.
Who told a woman how to write?
Taking notes from The Walking Dead, Talking Dead.
Yeah.
I got notes. I got all the notes.
Don't say Walking Dead. She might, God forbid, support Manchester United.
Oh,
the
how
zombie
did you know they were on the
Christmas inside for them.
list?
Jesus, don't mention that. She might put somebody else up there.
All right, Nicole, the stage is yours. Please.
Yeah, so just teams that I was really kind of thinking about after they were being chatted up. Aston Villa, obviously. Producer Mel has been talking about this to me for a long time, and then after hearing Lindsay's wonderful banter and just listening to what she was saying about the depth of the bench, about the management and the club overall, I was like, okay, I think I can see myself supporting Aston.
Very good. You just call them Villa, not their first name, Villa.
Aston Villa or Villa.
Yeah.
Villa.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
Hey, she's allowed to call them what she likes.
We're
No,
gonna,
it's
we're gonna,
always
she
the last
likes.
name. We know it. We talk
Cole.
about it with Pat all the
Yep.
time. It's last name, not
Cole.
first.
Last name, not
Cole,
first.
something
Got
else.
it.
We're gonna walk you through this. It's not
Thank
a judgment.
you. I
It's
appreciate
not a
that.
judgment.
That's
It's helpful tip.
It's
That's all
kind
it
of
is.
cool
Hey.
because then we're the villains or the villainista. And so there's a lot of
Ooh.
go off on
Hey.
that.
All right.
And actually, yeah, Villanista is like, okay, that's
Explaining
cool
to
too.
Nicole, please.
Okay. Well, I mean,
We're gonna
you-
walk you through it, young
Okay,
lass.
the colors.
You
Why
like
don't
to
you
tell
relax?
them.
The
You like to tell
colors
them
are
exactly what
claret
they're doing.
and blue. And claret is very close to burgundy, which
Yes.
I know that is a color close to your heart.
And that was also something that I thought about going through this whole process. You know, what teams kind of spoke to me because I've been a DC sports fan for a long time, supported, you know, the US version of football, the DC football team. And, you know, I can support a team through decades of losing without, you know, really losing heart. So I chose Nottingham Forest for that reason.
Well, and let's face it, Mark brings the thunder.
Oh yeah.
I actually texted her during this Zoom and I went, "Oh yeah, I already can tell you like Nottingham Forest."
Well, it also helped that I had listened to that show like recently within the last 5 days. I mean, just practically on the floor dying laughing when I listened to it, and then again today. So I was like, okay, yeah, yep,
it's charming.
It's
But that had nothing to do
done.
with him. That was us. Weren't we brilliant during that show? Us.
He was solid. He was solid.
I think all three of you were pretty on point on that show. But also with, you know, the losing Crystal Palace. I need a team that I can relate to, you know. It's not going to expect a lot of me. I'm not going to expect a lot of it. Like
Brad now has kind of like a soft glow over his Zoom thing.
Yeah, what is he doing over there? Is this
dark
fucking
Slade stat back all Costanza being like,
yeah.
After dark, Palace after dark.
Oh fuck, man.
I just want to say, you know what? Palace is a good choice for Nicole. She does not spend enough time with my mother.
That's
and
right.
so I'm sure Jan and Nicole will want to spend a lot more time together. And
That's a good
everybody
point.
wants to hang out with Jan.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I was trying to make that as a deterrent.
If you like DC sports, we're red, white, blue, eagle.
Yep.
And watch Friday, first game of the year
Yes,
at home. Just watch the fans.
Yeah, 4-0 loss will be enjoyable for you to start
Well,
supporting.
you're used to it. You're a DC
used
fan.
to it. I'm a DC
You're used
sports
to
fan.
it.
But
the
also,
fans will be crazy the whole time while we're losing.
and Glad All Over is a great intro song.
Great song.
I mean, you mentioned watching the game. That's another, you know, pin in the cap for Villa because I'm in Northeast DC. And what was the name of the place that you said plays the games?
Queen's
in Northeast, the Queen Vic.
And they do a phenomenal Sunday roast.
Yeah.
All right. So who else were you impressed by?
All right,
Can I share one last plug for Villa? If she said she likes DC teams, doesn't DC United and the Redskins both have like a good history, but they've kind of sucked these past few decades? That's Aston Villa.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's also
They
Nottingham Forest.
won the Champions League in 1982.
And you can do Aston Villa themed flowers like I did for
Yes.
Lindsay's birthday. And see, that's how much the Villanistas care about one another. We are a community.
And I love the term Villanisa too. Okay.
Who else stood out?
So also on the list is Wolves.
Okay. Very good.
And number one at the top right now, like in the ranking, Brentford Bees.
Oh, love Jane, huh?
I can't get mad at that.
I loved Jane. I loved her dedication to staying on despite being, you know, in the future and like time warped.
On at 4 o'clock in the morning, the day before us.
To talk about her team. That's the kind of fanship that, you know, the camaraderie that I'm like, yeah. But also Sam really sold it. Graham, I just want you to know that if I choose them as my team, I will also provide you with the pleasure of hearing by a bee's dick.
Please.
Excellent.
That's all I hope for.
That was
It's
outstanding.
Just, I think of a better, because like the European trope, obviously she's Australian, but the European trope in general that we hear all the time is that we will literally measure anything except by the metric system.
Right.
Yes.
That sinkhole is 7 washers wide. Right.
Yeah,
that kind of shit. So when she described something as, it almost went in, but for the length of a bee's dick.
Missed by a bee's
I
dick.
lost my fucking mind.
Yes.
Yep.
And I was like, that is brilliant.
Yes.
The most minute thing you could think of, right? That also wasn't metric.
Right.
Fantastic. I was lost by the hair on a kiwi's ass. What? This is absolutely fantastic.
All right. So, Cole, who did not impress you? Who left a unfavorable impression?
So I don't want to say it's a bad impression, but it was unfavorable. So
the concept show up.
No, Man United. Sorry, Ray.
We have a joke. There's 3 teams with curse words in their names. Cunt, Arsenal, Ars, and fucking Man United.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they're universally, they are the Dallas Cowboys of English Premier League.
Which is, I feel, why I could not in earnest support them. Also, they have their own beer. Get fucked. Like,
next up, who
next up is Southampton.
Okay.
They need help. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's gonna be great. We're just be like, hey, Kenny, you need help.
Hey, you gotta isolate that, please. Mel, you have to isolate that. Take that note down.
They need help.
You gotta write,
especially when they lose 5 in a row. We're gonna have to play Southampton. You need help.
We're gonna have Kenny on the
You're
show.
Now a sound drop. You're now.
We're gonna have Kenny on the show to play him that sound drop live, and I have to hear his reaction.
After they lose
that is
9-0
fucking brilliant.
They lose 9-0 for the third
time. Yes, that is fucking brilliant.
All right. Who else?
But also West Ham.
Yeah.
When they're talking about the trades that have happened so far and who they might need and like what are the positions that the team was hoping to fill in. I was just like, that doesn't sound like confidence at all, which I'm used to, but not that kind.
That's fair. Yeah, it's pretty dark. Pretty dark.
Got anybody else for us?
Not really. Everybody else kind of, middle of the field and
excellent. Very good.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah.
And there's a chance.
So what we're gonna do is over the next one. I mean, despite Graham, there's Simon, which Simon's very easy to fall in love with, and then Graham is Graham.
An acquired taste, but when you love me, you fucking love me.
Heard.
Okay.
Anywho. But
Simon was very pleasant, and I like the way he talked about like the charity aspect of it, and definitely when he was describing Arsenal's arsenal of players, I was like, wow, okay, these bastards sound like the Yankees, but all right.
That's City.
Yeah, that's definitely City. But we also didn't talk about City.
I know. I wish we had that money. I wish we had that money or Newcastle money with a will to spend it.
Well, then, perfect. Cole, like I said, throughout the season, we're going to check in with you. We're going to ask you about what games you've been watching, what kind of intrigued you. So what we want from you is just, give us your honest reaction to games you watch. If there's games you don't watch, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Each week you sit down, you watch 3 or 4 games. Who spoke to you? Who didn't speak to you? What are things you remember? What are things
Did you
saw
hear
on
the
social
supporters
media?
screaming over the TV feed? Did you hear that kind of stuff?
How was social media? What did our show to do to help influence it?
Check out a cursory Google search over whether or not the club racially abused players. That happens fairly frequently. that kind of stuff.
Perfect. So, Cole, this is going to be a wonderful journey
and why you chose
together.
Arsenal. I mean, that's,
and I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're with us. And again,
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
I've told you, unlike him, it is your own journey, and you will find your club on your own. And that's all there is to it.
You know what? And that's you're right. And Lindsay and I will not put any pressure on Nicole when we take her out for brunch in a couple of weeks to the Queen Vic.
I mean, when she is ultimately a Villa supporter, we understand that, but that's okay.
I'm just saying, I mean, you know,
absolutely.
Nicole, I know Lindsay and Nicole have a lot in common, and all I want to do is connect two loud women.
All right.
Yes.
Can I just leak an opinion real quick?
Go right ahead.
Do you get that segue?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to leak an opinion.
Yeah, I heard
it says you can't
yeah.
fucking choose Villa. Okay. And in lieu of that, you have to choose Arsenal. That's just what it is.
How any of this works?
Yeah, no, Skoda said
taking
so.
her choice away from her, Graham. We got to enable her.
It's because Skoda said so.
I'm allowed to now. Yeah.
All right. We still have another show.
That's right. We do. And we also got to fucking go.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
true. So real quick, if you want to help the DU Football Show gain health insurance, it's patreon.com/DU Football Show to sign up to our one huge, gorgeous, enormous $5 tier where you get a bunch of extra content and you can have a great time doing it.
I love it. That's apparently his parting words.
No,
hey, everybody.
My parting words is something else.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to get to, but you're jumping all over the place. Hey, Sam Graham, do you have any parting words?
I do. And I'm sad that Simon couldn't stick around because former Arsenal goalkeeper Jens Lehmann, Crazy Jens, was at it again.
Yeah, by the way, Nicole, that's his nickname, Crazy Jens.
In our D-back segment, Lindsay, don't leave yet. You want to hear this. Jens Lehmann, a former Arsenal goalkeeper, as told by the Telegraph, has reportedly been caught on camera launching a furious chainsaw attack on a luxury property on Germany's Lake Starnberg in what appears to be a long-running dispute with a neighbor where that piece of his roof obstructed Jens's view of the lake.
So Jens just grabs a chainsaw and decides to saw off half his house.
Crazy Jens.
Because he's the fucker that used to just run up the field and just kick a fucker in the chest because, well, why not? He was looking at
Lindsay, and a spoiler to the final game of the season, have you chosen a fucking club yet? If we employed a goalkeeper that is of this caliber, how can you not choose fucking Arsenal Football Club?
The fact that you just called Nicole Lindsay is why she's not going to choose.
Did I say Lindsay?
Arsenal Football Club.
Yes.
I was making sure Lindsay didn't leave, and I had that stuck in my head. Sorry.
You got my whole name wrong, sir. How long have we known each other?
You just shit the bed.
A pretty long while, actually. Sorry, I had a chainsaw in my hand, and I had to go do something.
Hey, Cole. I know I'm the one seed. We're good. All right. Next up is injury time, which we have to do quickly. Where
very
it's a
quickly
preview of the entire league, and we talk about the beers we have been drinking. We also check in on our adopted clubs, and if one wanted to
which
find
they
out,
haven't started yet, thank God.
No, they have played already.
Fuck,
both of them. They both played a win and a draw.
Oh,
little slip there. Anywho, if one wanted to find injury time, how do they go about doing it?
Patreon.com/DU Football Show. Sign up to that $5 tier. You get all our extra stuff, which is a load of fucking fun. A lot more, banter to be had there. And then, of course, you got to join Drunkard United FC on Facebook. That's where all the magic happens. So much fun. Like the main show page, DU Football Show on Facebook, and you'll get an invite for that one.
Excellent. Till next week, everybody.
Good night. I had to piss like a fucking racer.
All right, Cole, Russ, if you guys